individual's biological female child was affirmed, did have a community, but
he's
still,
using the far right language, by the way. Biological females, all that shit. Like he's like, you know, Tim isn't hiding this shit anymore.
Yeah, but like you're literally in the process of unaffirming this person.
Oh yeah,
like you're literally saying this biological female was affirmed. You know.
Yes. Yes.
But like you're literally showing in real time that is not the case. You know, you yourself are doing it.
Could it be unrelated to trans issues why this person took their life? Perhaps. But I think it's more likely that this was the issue. Now, it's entirely possible.
You know what I think? I actually kind of agree with you, Tim. I think it might have something to do with trans issues, specifically that people like you have created an atmosphere that is deeply unsafe in the world for trans people.
You're actually almost right for the wrong reasons. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it is the trans issue. It's the vilification of trans people that contributes to this.
Hello, how are you?
I'm splendid, festivus. Yeah, festivusy.
You are fested.
I am fested. It's a new verb. I'm trying that out right now, Mildred. My new thing is experimenting with new verbs and seeing how they work out.
Oh yeah, we love verbs around here.
Yeah, we love all of the utility of the English language, including the dreaded but equally as sexy pronouns. Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I suppose if you don't mind, I'd like to quickly inform both chats that me and Mildred, I guess, both being in different parts of the LGBTQ plus rainbow, both were, I'd say, pretty distraught and upset watching Tim Pool's response to a horrifying tragedy play out in real time of all the large, let's say, Rubicon of ghouls that exist. He kind of stood out and really decided to go for it and just go beyond what you would expect, because the bar is low. I'll be honest, the bar is very low. Almost
the bar is on the floor.
Yes, difficult to see at times, to the assholes who use myopic instead of hard to see. Let's just say it's myopic in this instance. But all that being said, so he really went for it, and it was one of those things where I think when you reached out to me about that, like I was feeling the same level of rage, just like blinding,
I didn't think I could be disappointed in Tim Pool.
Yeah.
No part of me thought there's no way, there's no lower for this man to sink.
Exactly. I didn't think such a depth could exist, but here we are, and he did, and he's not stopping, and it's just a never-ending cycle of horror. So we decided what's the Scooby-Doo? If this isn't Scooby-Doo, please correct me, Mildred. To get the gang back together, is that a Scooby-Doo thing?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
That
nice.
is, we'll call it that.
Nice.
That's one of your Scooby-Doo things.
Well, so that's the background as best as I can remember it or piece it together.
Yes. Yeah. I think you got it. I'm just turning your gain up on my end so that chat can hear all your witticisms, all the things you're saying, all the cool stuff you're saying.
Oh, my bits? I got bits. I got
bits.
so many bits. Yeah.
Yeah, your bits as well. You're going to want to hear the bits.
Bits, routines.
I think it's good. I think it's good now. I think we're getting there.
Yeah. I think another appropriate reference would have been I'm Thinking I'm Back, the John Wick.
Yeah.
John Wick. Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm back.
that thing. Yeah. That whole thing. Yeah. It was the Blues Brothers. My chat is roasting right now. Blues Brothers. It was the Blues Brothers, lads, not Scooby-Doo.
You mean to tell me Scooby-Doo? You mean to tell me Scooby-Doo wasn't in the Blues Brothers?
God damn it! I'm morbing out here. Oh, it was in Morbius. Sorry. It was in Morbius. I've been corrected twice in a row. It is from Morbius, the film Morbius.
From Morbius.
Yes, it is a Morbius reference. I'm getting the gang back together. So there you have it. Nice.
Yeah. I thinking I'm morbid. Let's say I get a question for you.
Yes.
Do you think, in the spirit of Christmas, you could name all of Santa's reindeer without looking at chat? You may
No.
not look at chat.
No.
No?
No. Dasher, Prancer, no. No.
Yeah, it's about as far as I got.
No. Rudolph, obvious. No, wait, Rudolph isn't one of them, right? Isn't Rudolph
Well, I mean, I think at this point, you know, if you're not counting Rudolph, it's like, that's ableism as far as I'm concerned.
or racism, whatever the woke mind virus decides. Okay,
yes,
we don't get to choose. We don't get to
either
choose.
way.
Okay?
You're canceled.
Yes. Eventually. Mm-hmm. How, before we get into all the Tim Pool stuff, how have you been enjoying the saga? Because I watched your video. By the way, if you haven't, please go to youtube.com/ThoughtSlime. Check out ThoughtSlime's amazing video on Elon Musk and his the trial tribulations and like when you put it into a linear timeline. When you see everything before you, you know, drawn out, and you can see in the distance, it's like you really can't put into words or encapsulate how much utter clown shoes, just shit fuckery the entire thing was. But when you see it laid out,
it's like I started that video thinking I was just going to do a typical, like, here's some stuff that happened and here are my thoughts on it. More of a, editorial style like I usually do. And as I was fact checking and putting it all together and making sure I got all of the funny stuff that was happening together, I was like, there can be no more to this video. This is there's nothing I can add that is funnier than this. What is happening? Like the part I think what really pushed me over the edge was when the part where he goes to court and he starts arguing and the judge is like, you can't make an objection, you're not a lawyer. And then the opposing counsel, to make fun of him, says, we wonder if you went to law school at all. And he says, when you get sued as much as I do, you tend to pick up a few things. And it's like, are you Michael Scott? Like, what is this?
It's unreal. I don't think people know how embarrassing Discovery was for Elon Musk, and that's one of the reasons all of this happened. This wasn't some Machiavellian, 5D chess kind of player maneuver that he was just like, I see the long game, okay? I have to be free speech, space Karen, Mars man, and to do this, I need to acquire this asset, this very valuable no, you were embarrassed into doing this mistake. You got embarrassed. This is like the biggest fucking, when someone is like, would you like to see the wine menu? And I'm like, sure. And then they're like, actually, we'll send a sommelier out for you. Like, no, I'm fine. It's like, oh, no, how much would you like to pay? I can't tell the difference. I'll be honest with you, $10, $20. And they're like, oh, sir, I will find something. And you're too embarrassed to turn back the $90 bottle because you don't want to look like you don't know what you're talking about. Elon Musk did that. He did that to Twitter. He is too embarrassed to turn back, and he's like, oh no, it's all part of the plan,
It's also like, it's like that, but to extend that analogy, it's like you ask to see the wine list, and then instead of ordering any of the wines, you fold the thing forward, you slide the menu back to the waiter, and you say, I'll just have a glass of piss. One glass of piss, please, and I will pay for the most expensive bottle of wine you have.
And then also, can you film this and show everyone that I'm drinking piss? Can you spread this far and wide? In fact, can I buy the very machine that will amplify my piss drinking abilities to the world and literally live inside it like a fetus? He moved inside Twitter. He lives in there. He's living inside the nightmare of his own design. You can't. This is so Lovecraft. Years later, we didn't have the technology to imagine torture this bad, but he lives inside the very building.
I have no Musk and I must scream. It's like the whole fucking thing, man. It's like the hardest part about it was like people kept saying, people trying to do this well, you think he's doing something dumb, but actually every time that he does something like this, he just gets richer and richer, and he's just got some secret plan that's super unethical that you're not thinking about. Yeah, and I'm like, I know why you'd think that. But he got caught doing the unethical thing and didn't get away with it and lost.
Right?
And like, like it's just it's unbelievable.
Even the part you're supposed to be cool for, everyone saw. You know, even the part that's supposed to happen behind the scenes, everybody saw that, and it wasn't cool at all. It was so embarrassing for you. It was so deeply embarrassing. But now you live inside, and yeah. How was sorry, long rant short. How's your Twitter experience been post 2.0?
I mean, it's Twitter. It's always dog shit. I mean, Twitter. It's the number one contributor to every mental illness that I have. Twitter is.
Sorry, would you say contributor or exacerbator?
I would say cause of. I would say that even before Twitter was around, it somehow sent depression back in time for me.
Wow.
I will say this for Elon Musk: if his incompetence manages to like take Twitter off of the internet, that would be like an incredible service to humanity. You know?
I have gone back and forth so many times on this throughout the history of the, like, at first I was like, I'm very scared of Elon Musk taking over Twitter. I don't want this to happen. Then he took over Twitter, and it was the funniest thing that ever happened on the internet. Like, I got to be
comedy's
part of
legal
it.
on Twitter now.
Yeah, I mean, you were tanking companies that extort human misery to sell insulin, a vital medication they need, and you have given someone for $8 the power to tank this corporation, this evil ass company. That's so beautiful. I never imagined this, and everyone's doing it together. Like, you know those moments on the internet where it gives you faith in humanity again, where all of a sudden there was just all these things popping up all over the place, and it was like the fucking people are learning about what a banana republic is, and then now, oh my god, Joe Biden's talking about how he's jerking his dick off and he's all lubed up, and now Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh are revealing the worst parts of themselves. I was just like, for a glorious, like, I don't know, 48 hours, or you probably know better than me, however long it was allowed, that was, I think, in my opinion, the funniest the internet has ever been in my life. Like, and my partner, like, I probably was insufferable because I would not shut the fuck up about it. Every 2 seconds I was like, oh my god, George Bush just confessed to his war crimes. Oh my god, Lockheed Martin is just like, I was like, it was never ending. It just kept going and going and going.
There's 3 times in history that Twitter has ever been good. When Donald Trump got COVID,
yes,
when
agreed.
Queen Elizabeth died, and
yes, oh my god,
the first 2 days of Twitter blew. Yeah,
I that is the holy trinity right there. At least in my history on Twitter, right? I'm sure there was funny moments before that I missed out on, but I completely agree with you. Yeah, those 3. Also, parts of those 3, I would say, are also awesome because the comedy and just the joy that the majority of humanity was feeling overshadowed and drowned out the people who were being weirdos about the whole thing. People who were like, oh, this is not very dignified of all of you. And then it's oh, okay.
But that's almost the best part to me, to be honest, is to like really fuck those people's day.
Yeah.
You know, the people who are like, well, how would you feel if they, said this about you when you died? And, I would feel nothing because I'd be fucking dead like the Queen.
Because I'd be dead.
Did you see, by the way, chat just reminded me of this. Did you see the quartering saying that when Elon put up the poll about whether he should resign as chief twit, the quartering was like, this is the most important thing to ever happen in the culture war. I'm going to be like waking up early to encourage people to vote on this poll. Like, he was like having a get out the vote drive that is similar to the way that like a lib would do like for an actual election. And when no won the poll, when it said you should resign, won the poll, he made his bid to be the leader of Twitter. And he like outlined his creds, saying like, I know the space, and like I've run a media company that's represented Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah. He did say that. And he was an expert in alt tech. Can I raise you, Mildred? Did you know that the quartering actually made a video to which he has now stated he did under a, quote, liter of vodka, where he called out his fellow content creators and demanded they wake up and make videos about the vote because this is, quote, the most important moment for free speech in history.
Oh man!
In a since deleted video, by the way, he has taken it down.
What a fucking life! What a fucking life, man! Like imagine you wake up one morning and you've got like 15 angry messages from me, drunk out of my mind, saying like,
right?
Why didn't you make a video about this Twitter poll? Like, we were
wake
on
up!
the same side here.
I thought you were part of the sheeple, Lance.
Yeah, I can count on you.
Yeah, no, it's absurd. I watched his video when he was getting really, really upset about it, and then I've watched the subsequent one that he said that he had like an actual meltdown. And you know, I don't want to make light of anyone, especially, you know, men coming forward and being open about their emotions, because that is honestly a huge problem we have in society. Men should be. In that video, though, he does mention how fellow content creators reached out to him, much like you just suggested, and texted him and was like, "Are you okay?" And then his response was to get mad at them and stuff. I was like, that should probably be the wake up call, though. I don't know, that moment where it's like, if like again,
it's like this situation where like he's living this life where he's surrounded himself with people that don't believe in helping one another, or that like men should have feelings, or that there should be any like, you know, feeling of warmth towards others in your heart at all. So of course
that's
like,
pussy shit.
Yeah. So of course he can't like, you know, face it when people are like, "Hey man, this seems like you're having a pretty bad mental health episode. Are you all right?"
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I like when I was watching it, I went through these weird motions where I was like, "Oh, this is kind of tough," because like, obviously, he's a horrifying human being who makes people's lives worse for money. Like he gets money by marginalizing marginalized communities. That fucking sucks. So I don't have sympathy for him specifically as a person, but just as in terms of like what this means to have a massive audience, especially of like a lot of dudes, because he's shown before that he's got like 99% you know, male audience. A lot of dudes. Yeah, dudes rock. A lot of reinforcement. They're like, you shouldn't actually talk about this stuff. You shouldn't actually express yourself. You shouldn't actually.
Also, Lance, for future reference, you didn't need to explain to me. You didn't need to offer any evidence that the Quartering's audience was mostly dudes. I never would have thought otherwise.
Oh, you don't need the data. You don't need that.
You could have given me like a Pew Research you know, document that said his audience contained even a single woman, and I would throw it out. I would say this has been compromised. The
feels over the reels. Yeah, the feels.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. So to answer your question, yes, I did see that. I've seen that and the follow through. I used that moment to this is a slight addendum. I responded to Elon and the Quartering when he was doing that whole like I could be your CEO kind of stuff with a video that he has since deleted of the Quartering, because he said he was like, I'm an expert in tech, and I was like, he actually does have experience in tech. Here's a video of the Quartering back when he had a tech channel doing a PSA, and the purpose of the PSA was to warn pedophiles to delete child porn off their computers if they bring it in for repairs. Yeah, because he and fellow tech people who worked, you know, in computer repairs would look through their private files to find porn, and he did it. He admits to doing it, and his fellow tech workers did it, and they found child porn, and then someone got arrested. So he was like, he felt at that moment emboldened and impassioned. I have to make a video on this right now. So everybody, hey, if you have child porn on your computers, delete it, because we look at it and you might get arrested. So just, you know, just I'm not the
layers. The layers here, where it's like not only are you a piece of shit for like going through people's hard drives, but like not only are you a piece of shit for finding child porn and doing nothing, but like you're like someone's got to protect the pedophiles. Pedophiles are vulnerable. We've got to do something.
Okay, that last part is correct, but they did do something. The guy got arrested. That's why he made the PSA. He's like, someone found child porn on a computer in like at my place. So I'm just saying, if you have child porn, delete it before you go in to take your computer in, because we do look through it. And so when I did a video on that fact that happened, he deleted his entire tech channel. The whole tech channel is gone. All the videos, he had so many, he deleted the whole thing. It's gone. He just wiped it from the internet. I was like, well,
doesn't make you look guilty at all.
No. all right. Not even just the video. I was like, it would be one thing if he privatized the video. He deleted the channel, just expunged it from the internet. Yeah. So
wowzers.
Yeah.
That is oof. Oh man, I would love it if he became the CEO of Twitter, though. Like,
oh, amazing.
Like, if you're gonna get because Elon's gonna be a hard act to follow. If you want someone who's gonna fuck it up even worse, he's the man for the job for sure.
No question. No question. Yeah. No. He's like, he knows even more about free speech than Elon does. Yeah. Space Karen.
So just fucking everybody that gets on with this like groomer shit. Everybody that just calling like drag queens reading storybooks groomers.
Yeah.
Why is it that it's so simple to find evidence of them literally advocating sexual abuse of children? You know?
Play a game. Like give me a name. You can name like Tucker Carlson. I'm like, oh, Tucker Carlson went on a Fox News program and said that he was completely comfortable and fine with grown women giving lap dances to little boys because it's fine. A teacher can give a lap dance to a little boy because boys like that stuff. And you're like, what the fuck are you saying right now, Tucker? And then Tucker Carlson has a whole bunch of Bubba the Love Sponge clips where it's like, I would actually enjoy a scenario in which my teenage daughter was in a lesbian encounter with another person in a school. If it wasn't my daughter, I would enjoy it in that situation. And you're like, why did you say that out loud, Tucker Carlson? That's some really fucked up things to say, you know?
It does feel like even like having said that, that should be like a moment of, oh wait, shit. Like, I guess if it was my daughter, I would be really upset, huh? Nothing.
The self-reflection.
But like Matt Walsh is the example where he's talking about how like, you know, basically in favor of child brides.
Yeah, child impregnation. Well, child rape. I mean, let's be completely transparent about this. Okay, first off, it is incredibly strange to want to give an impassioned speech on a radio show, even if you want to use the defense that I'm a shock jock, whatever, to talk about how 16 is the ideal impregnation age, the ideal fertility age for femoids.
And it super isn't, right? Like, it could not be. Like, that can't be true. Like, because like. Even on just like a pure, like if you're a complete scumbag and you don't give a shit at all, right? It's like I'm pretty sure women continue to get bigger and taller and like, you know.
I don't know. It's hard to know whether I should take medical advice from scientists or the Bible. That's what it really comes down to, right? Because there's clear instructions in the Bible as to all of this, as well as a lot of other really fucked up things. So hard to choose. He's also got Matt Walsh is a serial pedophile defender. I say that without zero fear of having a lawsuit thrown at me, because he has said before, he's quote tweeted me and said like I'm slandering him. And I literally posted.
Well, then take me to court, motherfucker. Go ahead, sue me. Go ahead.
100%. I would love to get into discovery with, you know, like I can't wait. But he did that, and this is rich. The guy who defends libs of TikTok, who, by the way, Chai Rychek, stochastic terrorist, she straight up does not post clips of people. She posts clips of people that she doesn't like, LGBTQ+, and says groomer pedophile. And that's the slander. For Matt Walsh, I posted the clip of him and then wrote out and or posted the things that he's saying in the clip. And he's like, well, this slanderous clip clearly ignores the context that apparently, you know, people don't accept the fact that it's completely fine for a 17-year-old to be pregnant. She just needs to be wed. And it's like,
no, it super isn't. That context is the thing we're talking about.
That's what I have the issue with. Yeah.
They always do this where it's like, well, yeah, but what I'm saying is this. You know, you didn't think it's like, yeah, that's the problem. That's the thing I'm talking about.
I don't think it's okay if a 40-year-old impregnates a 17-year-old if they get married. That doesn't fix the problem. I'm not like, oh, they're married. Oh, I did not see the ring. Oh, sorry. My apologies. I was way off base here. You know, no, impregnate away. Go forth, please. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
I take no issue with this whatsoever. I know the old school thing is that we watch the Tim Pool things and then we let the audiences vote on the third one. I still want to let the audience vote because I believe in democracy, because I'm free speech, you know. I'm 100% free speech. But I also at some point I saved it. I haven't watched it yet. I wanted to watch Tim Cast's latest Democrats trans child takes own life, but the senator blames everyone else instead of affirming care, which on the surface is probably one of the worst Tim Pool looking videos I've seen, but it's probably going to be dark. But he just posted it. It's like a new one. It's doing well. I was like, I do want to take that down at some point, or at least mock him ruthlessly for it.
Well, we should probably do that one first so that we can get real mad.
Yeah.
And then we can do a silly one as a palate cleanser.
Okay. Well, in addition to the silly one, I wanted to say, because I'm suggesting this one, do you want to suggest the other one? Because this one's 22 minutes and it looks bad.
Well, I thought we were gonna do. We'll let the audience decide.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I said I was free
as a
speech
little
man.
Christmas treat. As a little Christmas treat.
I said I was free speech man, but I'm actually Elon Musk all along.
Yeah, this is the bait and switch the left always pulls. You know.
What's the streaming site that lets us stream? Just watch.
Watch together.
Oh, watch together.
What's the streaming site that lets us watch together?
Well, don't you love that I never cheated on you because I clearly can't even remember the name? And I just showed it on stream too. There's no security. Okay, so I'm gonna boom around here for 2 seconds.
It's like the time I typed out my Disney Plus password on stream.
Did you do that actually?
Yeah.
And how did that work out for you?
It was fine. I changed it before anybody got in. I was
nice.
In and out. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Wait, how do you even do that? Was that because
my wife was asking for my
Democratic
password, and I don't remember how it, but it was just like one of those things where there's no way I'm gonna hold on. I just gotta turn you off for a second just to grab this.
Yeah.
I think so that I don't show any messages from people. Oh my god, I got so many fucking windows to juggle these streams. And back. Okay. Yeah, I don't even remember how it happened, to be honest. It was just one of those things where it's like, oh, surely I won't somehow do this. And then, of course, what
do
did
it
I
in
do?
real time.
Exactly that.
Yeah. How's I never even asked. I never even did pleasantries. How's life otherwise? Are you doing wonderful? Are you thriving?
I'm going through some mystery health problems.
Ooh, mystery
just like
health.
completely tired all the time. Don't know why. Every time
great.
I go to the doctor, they're like, "You're the healthiest person that's ever lived. There's nothing we could do to improve you. You just have to live with the fact that this is how you feel, and you're probably just imagining every sensation you've ever felt in your life."
Thanks, doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not great. Did you think it's anything related to the kind of stuff that like Vadim was going through in terms of like exhaustion, inability to?
I know that people think we're the same person.
I know. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
It could. I doubt it. But it's just I have sleep apnea, so I got that. I'm blasting air into my face.
Oh, you got one of those devices. Those apparently help a lot though. All of my friends with sleep apnea have said that it was like life changing to get the
That's
Bane
what
mask.
I was hoping for, you know.
Oh no! Fuck! I'm sorry. That sucks.
Yeah. But how are things?
Things are good. It's dumped in Vancouver, and as soon as snow lands in Vancouver, because we're not used to snow, all the cars turn into Teslas, and they just start automating and sliding into buildings and smashing into trees and stuff like that. Like it's chaos. But I have a dog son, and he loves the snow, so that's kind of cute. So I've enjoyed bringing him in the snow and having him roll around and love the snow and the snow temps. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same way every time there's a single snowfall in Toronto, they like call out the military to clear the roads. It's
The military? Well, it's better than we have.
No, that literally, yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've done that many times.
Oh, all right.
All right, I'm ready when you are. Also, thank you for the gifts of Waller is me.
Job Waller.
You good? We go?
You're good. I'm retweeting that this is taking place because it's like tweet about it. Oh, thanks, Waller is me. Waller is me jumped into my chat to drop gift subs too. Just showering everyone with Christmas cheer.
It's Santa Claus.
Yeah, you pause on pause.
All right.
Senator from Kentucky is very angry, and I believe they have a right to be angry. The story is Kentucky Senator Karen Berg slams rivals for marginalizing my child and exacerbating culture wars.
Clean up your room.
After
already angry.
transgender son, 24, took his life. Devastated mom blames vile anti.
So hold up. This is a video of
Yeah, I know. I told you. We're like, this one is going to be dark. I think it's a necessary evil to fucking push back on this shit. But holy fuck, the framing, like even the clickbait, everything about this is absolutely like from the ground on up horrifying. You know.
So
Clean up your room.
I'm confused here. Is Tim Pool arguing that agreeing with this woman for saying that their son was the victim of anti-trans hate and thus took his life? Is that what he's, or is he saying like, all right.
I don't want to assume what he's about to say, but the framing of this looks pretty fucking bad.
Clean up your room.
Okay, bracing myself.
trans hate that took its toll. The reason why I say this individual, Karen, has a right to be angry is because their child has died. And I think anybody who loses a child has a right to be angry.
Oh, that's big of you, man.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, wow.
We have reached the bare minimum threshold of human decency. Congratulations. Achievement unlocked.
Let it not go unsaid by Tim Pool that it's okay to be upset if your kid dies.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to be
Clean up your
clear.
room.
Yeah, no, he's being brave, you know? He's gotta get that out of the way.
But I think it's important we discuss who they should be angry with or who we should be angry with. And it's time to have a very hard discussion about what's going on with transgender youth.
What qualifies you? I'm already incoherently angry. That's the thing. I'm already at a level of anger.
It's already blinding. It's like, just think of what has to go. What's the thought process where it's like, you know what? Here's a segment. I got this. You know what? I need to talk about this. Someone has to. The royal we, because he does refer to we now. We need to really have a serious discussion about this. Things have gone too far, apparently.
Yeah. Choose, pick your moment, bud. This ain't it. This ain't it.
The first thing I'll say is I'm very libertarian. I'm not completely libertarian. You've heard me argue with libertarians, but I lean more towards the liberal, the traditional liberal, and the libertarian live and let live.
Okay, pause.
There's an adult human being.
It's like if you took a beanie and put it on the political compass, he's just doing this right now. Just so we're clear, this is my political ideology. I just want to get that out of the way.
It's very much like, well, I'm gonna come. What shitty direction am I gonna come from? Do you think?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Who wants to live a certain way ain't nothing to do with me. You live your life. I wish you the best. I hope for your happiness. And I am saddened when anyone loses their life. I'm not even in favor of the death penalty. Like some of the worst people in the world.
Such a brave.
No, there's a whole other discussion there. I'm not going to waste words. I'm going to come right out and say it. I believe this Karen Berg has a right to be angry after losing her child.
That's all you do,
But I do
Tim.
believe that she is politicizing this and putting the fault on those who actually tried to save.
Okay.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Wow.
So bad.
Holy shit.
Just next level fucking cruel, inhumane. What goes through your beanie to think that this is the take? I not just the take. I'm gonna blast this because you're amplifying this shit. You know, now I guarantee you this person is gonna get fucking emails and shit that's just like, Tim was saying blah blah blah. Sorry to interject on your dead child and everything, but I have opinions. I need you to know my opinions now. Thanks to the fucking Tim Pool show. Fuck off. I just genuinely, it's so
Like,
bad.
like this is why whenever people like if I make a statement and people are like, well, I agree with you, but I don't think you should say it for optics. It's like, this is what the right considers optics, right? Like this is, it's like, oh, I know exactly how we're going to, I know who to attack here.
Yeah.
It's this grieving mother who just lost her son.
You let things go too far. Are you not partially responsible?
You're getting a free pass just because your son is dead, but no, we're gonna have a hard discussion over here.
Holy shit! Yeah, no,
utter monster.
When you DM me post the Colorado shooting and just being like, I can't like just stand the way Tim Pool is treating this, like that was one of those moments where it was like, back in the day, the cycle used to be something horrible happens to the LGBTQ plus, and then all of a sudden it's thoughts and prayers, good guys with guns, blah blah blah. We certainly hope this doesn't happen again. Lone gunman, mental health, all that shit. That was the cycle. This time it was fuck around and find out. That's the shit that was coming out of Tim Pool. It was like, well, you fucking people were asking for a wood chipper. What did you think was going to happen? Fucking you host a fucking grooming event. Are you surprised that people do this? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, God, wow, that is different. Like this is a new fucking narrative. They have just dehumanized to such a degree that they are capable of going down this road now. That they can say this kind of shit out loud and feel comfortable being like, you know what, fuck them, the fuck around and find out. That's all I'm gonna say about this. Like it's reached new levels with this shit.
Yeah, it's new lows.
Yeah,
it's
in an impossible fucking endless low.
Her child. You see, here's the issue. This transgender activist, Karen Berg's transgender son, meaning biological female, was a...
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Why is that necessary?
Yeah.
Like this is the fucking thing, man. It's like we can all have a good laugh when the queen dies. That's some funny stuff. She's an old lady. But like, if tomorrow Tim Pool died tragically, he slips on some beanie wax. He was polishing the beanies.
Yeah.
Not a euphemism, just literally taking out his beanies and polishing them with a new coat of beeswax. And he slips on it and he hits his head and it cracks open and a chicken comes out and flies away. Like, I wouldn't make fun of him after that. I would be like, yeah.
No.
I would remind people that he was a piece of shit and he said awful things, but I wouldn't be laughing that he got murdered, Yeah. Or I guess it's not murder. The chicken has a right to do what it pleases. But
the chicken is free. I'm going to be honest with you. I genuinely thought you were going to say right after you said, and the chicken flies away, that and that brings in the harvest. I was like, I didn't know we were going this direction. But
it's going to be a cold snap this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, sorry. Jokes aside, I agree with you. I wouldn't do that. No, if he died tragically, I wouldn't mock the tragic way in which he died. I would be like, everyone, you should know he's a huge piece of shit, right? Fucking, it sucks if a chicken tries to escape from your brain. But either way, it's shitty.
You gotta pick your battles, and it's like, it's just yeah.
Affirmed, had a community and a career, and still was unhappy and still took their own life. Again, I wish this for no one.
Okay, but like, no one makes the argument that transition will cure you of all sadness. That post-transition, your life will be blissful and you will never again feel any hurt. Right?
Oh, it's not utopian juice. I was told it's utopian juice. Oh.
No. And but like, one of the reasons that is not the case is that post-transition, people experience a great deal of discrimination, specifically the thing that this senator is calling out, the thing that they're saying.
Or the thing that Tim Pool is doing right now to his massive fucking audience. Yeah, that's kind of fucking got to be terrible,
And so, and also, how does that not give lie to the idea that, like, you talk about, just, live and let live, do as you please. But also, just so you know, it's not going to like cure you of depression. So why bother doing it? Lots of things aren't going to cure people of depression, and you still are allowed to do them if you want.
Or try them. And I assume Matt Walsh won't be in the fucking doctor's office with you when you do. You know, he's not going to stand there and like, oh, hold on, I have an opinion. I don't know if this Prozac is right for you. It's like, well, yeah, I guess Matt Walsh should have a...
would tell me it wasn't. Matt Walsh is also super anti.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he doesn't believe that. He also doesn't believe ADHD is real. So that's neat. That's fun.
Yeah, no, it's the most studied neurological disorder on Earth. You would be going against literally all experts in the field, but you've only known about it for a couple thousand years. So
people
who knows?
are
Maybe
bored.
tomorrow. Yeah,
that's all there is.
Yeah, you can look at an MRI and see chemical differences in the brains of people with ADHD and who don't, but it still feels kind of a bit iffy.
Yeah. What are you, bored?
No one's child, no person. But we're trying to solve these problems. We want to stop suicides. We want to stop the pain. And that means having a hard discussion. One that many of these let's call them predators will probably try to latch onto.
Predators!
Oh my God.
These predators!
Like, I'm flabbergasted. This is so fucking beyond the pale. I know the left are always like, the right always calls the left like snowflakes. Like, oh, y'all are so emotional. You get triggered by everything, you lefties. Triggered. Oh, what is the raincoat I'm wearing black? Does that mean I hate black people? Triggered again. But this is genuinely fucking disgusting. Like this is so far and it shouldn't be normalized. That's why it's okay to freak out that Tim Pool is doing the fuck around and find out post a mass shooting event of LGBTQ plus people. That's normal. It's normal to be like, that's fucked for him to think and say that. That's fucked for him to take this point of view. It's so far beyond now. This never used to be the way. And you shouldn't let this shit get normalized. That's it. It shouldn't be acceptable for him to the next day after someone's kid commits suicide to be like, I'm going to make a video about how it was the gender affirming care and we have to have a serious, frank discussion about this. That's fucked, you know? Let the person grieve. God damn.
It's the type of thing where it's like, I'm not triggered by this. It's not hurting me. I'm angry that he's a piece of shit. And it's like, if he said something like this to me at a party, I can't imagine not having a Will Smith slap him across the face moment. How do you talk about fuck around, find out,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So just it goes without saying in our audience, I think, but just so that, it's clear. If he's talking about reducing suicides, just because no one is saying that transition would make you immune to the urge to commit suicide, you can still compare the rates of pre and post transition suicides, And I think you'll find one group tends to be at much higher risk.
Yep. Because of people like this. That's the other shitty thing. It's because people fucking put this shit out into the ether constantly. And that sucks. It's societal stigma, and I've had discussions with centrists and right wingers on this where I'm like, it's societal stigma. They're like, how can you possibly measure for that or quantify that? I was like, very, very easily. You can poll the very people who have had suicidal ideation, and why? You can ask them what was the reason for this, and if they tell you it's because society treats me like shit, well then that's the problem, not the you being trans, the society being dicks. Very easy, Yeah.
An effort to smear me for even bringing it up, but I will say it again. This Democrat is angry with Republicans, is angry with those who are questioning whether or not people should receive transgender affirming treatments, as they call it.
As every reasonable person should be. Yes.
As they call
yes, yeah.
I'm gonna take the
because
position.
You're trying to kill people like my dead son. I'm angry at you. How crazy!
yeah. And I'm personally gonna stand on the side of every major medical association of the United States agrees upon this fact. I'm gonna back that one. You know, that one sounds a little bit more peer reviewed and quantifiable. And also, why the fuck are you interjecting yourself into children's health care? Like, that is so weird. This doesn't concern you, Tim. You're not trans. Your kids aren't trans. Why are you going after them?
That's the other thing, man. It's such like this doesn't get talked about enough. It's such fucking loser shit, you know? Right? Like, who do you fucking? You have no horse in this race. Like, shut the fuck up.
It doesn't affect your life. You're not going to be affected by this. God damn.
It's like if I got like super anti-curling, you know?
Yeah, I know.
And every time I went to like a curling rink and I held up a sign saying like "curling kills kids," you know?
And you also you gave press conferences, you did interviews, you went on shows. And you're like, I have to tell you how many children have died at the hands of The Rock, and you're just like, what the fuck? Why does this guy care so much about this shit? This is so weird.
Such fucking embarrassing loser shit is the thing.
Yep.
In addition to being a monster. Yeah.
Yes. Can't forget about that part.
But the individual's biological female child was affirmed. Did have a community, but
he's using the far right language, by the way. Biological females, all that shit. Like, he's like, you know, Tim isn't hiding this shit anymore.
Yeah, but like you're literally in the process of unaffirming this person.
Oh yeah,
like you're literally saying this biological female was affirmed. You know.
Yes.
But like you're literally showing in real time that is not the case. You know, you yourself are doing it.
Yep.
Committed suicide. Ask yourself why that is. Why, after giving this person everything they asked for, it still was not enough. Now,
maybe there's more to life than.
Yeah. That's so fucked up. Like, you found a case where it's like, I wondered, like, is this, because you know how the entire right just goes through these cycles where they all talk about the same thing, like NPCs all at once. It's like, hey, Mr. Potato Head, hey, Dr. Seuss, hey, the M&Ms, all this kind of shit. So is this the next one? Is this like, so this is a case, and we have one now of someone who got gender affirming care and yet still committed suicide. So checkmate. Checkmate, trans people, checkmate, lefties, checkmate, allies. All of you were wrong all along. We have a single case of this now. Yeah, I don't want to look at the overwhelming amount of data on the other end. Let's talk about this. Yeah.
How come this person took an aspirin and they still have a headache?
Yeah. I mean, does aspirin work at all? Does anyone get an effect from aspirin? I don't know.
And they're selling this shit to children?
Yeah. Apparently. You know? Yeah, that's what I've heard. The word on the street.
Now, of course, the Democrat senator, this is state senator, I believe, is saying, no, you didn't accept.
You should fucking know. You should fucking know the basic facts of it if you're going to talk about it. You shouldn't go off half-cocked if you, like, you don't even know what this fucking woman.
On the cuff. Let's do this improv style. I'm ready. You know. Okay. Scene. I need a place, picture, a job, occupation. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm ready. Yeah. Okay. So time to blame the parents of a dead child for the dead child.
My transgender son. But people don't accept everybody for a variety of reasons. That's an impossibility. And so here's the issue at play, and then we'll read the story. And we'll talk about what's going on with.
Okay, wait.
That's the first. Be kind.
That's the first funny statement. I love the logic of this. That's kind of the same thing when people are like, "Well, I mean, not everyone's disabled, so why do we need ramps?" You know, like what's the purpose of this thing if it doesn't, broadly speaking, actually happen all the time? You know, I'd like to discount its purpose or utility altogether. And then it's like, well, what are you saying, Tim? Like, this seems like you're really trying to muddy the waters on this. It's like, well, I mean, people don't recognize every aspect of you. I mean, if I told someone I was black, would they accept that as a reality of my situation? And you're just like, what are you talking about right now, Tim? You have this, it's on your screen right now. This is about a suicide. This is not the moment to get all like the Philosopher's Stone on this shit.
It's also like his whole argument hinges on the idea that this person could not have experienced any transphobia, right?
Right.
He just
Right.
he just like the minute he came out as trans, everybody was just like, cool, that's fine. You're a dude. Moving on. And then they just
we affirm
spontaneously killed
you.
themselves.
You're valid.
Yeah.
Everything about this is wonderful. There's absolutely no aspect of society that will ever question this in any way, shape, or form, including the mass media and everything else. Yeah, things are awesome.
But like this man's mother is saying like the reason he took his life is because of anti-trans.
Thank you.
It's there in the fucking headline, right?
Thank you.
So like for you to then say, well, I mean, they could be not accepting this person for any reason, you know?
It's like, again, it just like it blows my mind that you would have thought to do this. Not only this is your interpretation, like even for fucking the dinner table, you're sitting across from Moonlord and you're like, hey, by the way, blah blah blah. That would be fucked up in and of itself. But to think like, not only that, I need to make a video on this. I need to get my millions of followers to fucking agree with this take. That's fucked. Yeah.
If he had a human heart, this should be a moment where when you read something like that, it should make you question your complicity in these structures. It should make you think like, oh, how many people have died because of like the shit that I've spread with my audience? But instead it's like this weird like fucking logic game where it's all like hypotheticals and all like, but what if it's just
I
soulless. It's
no end in sight, I guess, is the theme.
Actual groomers. I'm not talking about in general LGBT people. I'm talking about groomers targeting children and destroying lives.
See, you shouldn't have to make that clarification.
But you know you have to, because what have I been doing for money?
This is the story of someone who, instead of listening to the voice of reason, many of us decided to just affirm whatever it is their child said, but it didn't do a thing.
So what is your solution then? That you should just never, like, never agree with your child? Like, if, like...
The thing about that...
You can't make the case that this caused this person to kill himself, you know?
God.
So, like... Oh, so now you're fucking saying it's this woman's fault. Like you're...
And the most fucked up thing about all this is that like you hear this and then you see interviews with parents, the parents of trans children, every single one I've ever seen, overwhelmingly. It's not, I brought up maybe you're trans. It's the kid was telling me and I didn't listen to them for so fucking long. Like just fucking almost years of like, oh no, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you're gay. I don't understand this, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, it's like when we finally affirmed our child, it was like a light switch. It was like, holy shit, there was a different person. The spark of life came into them and they were happy and their life was affirmed. That's overwhelmingly what you see. And there's always this narrative on the other end from the right that's like, well, this is just parents trying to convince their children to be trans because it's trendy for the likes and the clicks. And like, what the fuck? This could not be more wrong. Like, you know, it's again, unbelievably ghoulish. We're 3 minutes into this video.
3 minutes. Yeah.
We're 3 minutes. Like, it's so hard. It's so bad.
Getting coal in his stocking.
So
I can tell you that.
Oh,
I can tell you that.
Oh yes, yeah.
I hope
definitely.
3 ghosts visit this motherfucker. Oof.
The beanie passed.
Let's read, and we'll break this down. A Kentucky state senator has taken a hit at politicians who used trans issues as a battlefield to fight culture wars after her own transgender son took his own life. Now, this is a biological female.
Like, you've clarified that. When the fucking Daily Mail is taking more care to correctly gender someone than you are?
Oh shit. No shit. Like, no, you are continuing to denigrate the dead. That's what you're doing. Yeah, and I'm going to make a video about this. I'm going to mock the dead. I'm going to dehumanize someone who has passed away. That's fucked. That's absolutely fucked. The Daily Mail has higher standards than Tim Pool. Okay.
We're talking about. Democrat Karen Berg blamed vile anti-trans hate and the lack of acceptance for her son's suicide.
Wow, it almost sounds like everything you said is full of shit then, Tim.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like your entire argument has just been undone by a single sentence. Timothy
Yep.
Poole.
Yep.
It was an argument she also addressed to the Senate in February, when she warned the world is coming after them, referring to trans people like her son. Berg's son, Henry Berg Brosseau, a passionate LGBT activist, died on Friday after taking his own life at the age of 24. Berg Brosseau was honored by his mother on Tuesday, in which he said a lack of acceptance took a toll on Henry, after politicians tried to exacerbate the culture wars. This is an excuse.
I don't like this man. I don't like Tim Pool.
He seems like a bad guy. Bad guy. Yeah. Weird, bad man. This Tim Pool, I tell you.
I will say it.
Clean up your room.
The mother is at fault. That's a bold thing to say, because we never want to.
Fuck you! Holy shit! And he's like fucking posturing, peacocking. This is peacocking, all right? I will say it. No one has the bravery. I do. Here we go. Giddy up. Holy shit. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, I knew things were bad. I knew things were real bad. But goddamn. Goddamn. There is no bar. There is no floor. There is no depth to which these motherfuckers will sink.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So I'm just gonna join me in a quick prayer. Non-denominational.
For sure.
Dear God, please strike Tim Pool dead.
In Roblox.
Amen. No. No.
Okay, so he's streaming on YouTube, and so for those watching on Twitch,
I'm not making a threat. I'm merely asking God.
For those on Twitch, Mildred has distinctly they have said distinctly at this moment that at this moment in time it's in Roblox. Well, actually, is that TOS? Is it TOS to request of?
No, it's probably against the terms of service of the Bible, but I don't think it. Otherwise, I don't know.
To blame someone, and whenever someone takes their life or something, we say it's not your fault. You couldn't have controlled this. No. I'm not playing those games. Okay, I am not trying to be disrespectful or mean to Karen Berg. I feel
no, it just comes natural to you. You don't have to.
Yeah, I just can't help myself. Fuck the dead. That's my philosophy.
Sorry, this sounds too disrespectful, but I think it is your fault that your son killed himself.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Sorry. That's your biological female child.
I don't want to do this. I don't have a choice. What can I say?
for her. I respect the anger. This person lost their child. But if we don't confront this, if we don't call out exactly what it is, it will keep happening. And I'll tell you what it is.
Okay, sorry, pause.
An individual.
He right now is trying to flip the narrative. That's what he's doing. He is trying to flip the disproportionately high rate of trans people who commit suicide as a problem of them being trans. That's what he is doing right now. That's fucked. This is fundamentally fucked. It's not only like ascientific, it lacks any understanding of the actual data science, any of the fucking people involved in this, but it's dangerous. This is very dangerous for him to flip this, you know, to be like, well, they're committing suicide because of gender affirming care. We need to talk about this. I'm the only one brave enough to say it. I'm going to do this right now. This is my calling.
Yeah, well, it's like, this is legitimately, he's going to get people killed saying shit like this.
Like Mildred, is Steven Crowder this bad? Because last I checked, Steven Crowder wasn't even this rough. And Steven Crowder is a horrifying transphobe. You know, I'm saying that with full knowledge of the severity of that sentence. And like, honestly, like...
Under no circumstances do you gotta hand it to Stephen.
No!
Okay.
No, we are not doing that. Not right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's not as bad. Like, has the beanie is the beanie at the tower of transphobia right now. Because in terms of YouTube figures, I don't know much worse than these takes.
This is like, someone in chat said he's in full on Matt Walsh territory. I think this is actually
Beyond.
worse than anything I've seen Matt Walsh say, and I've seen that dude say some heinous shit. This is a level of hatefulness that used to be reserved for like the Klan.
Stormfront? Stormfront? This feels like a Stormfront tank. Like, oh, another trans person committed suicide because they were trans. Headline on Stormfront, you know? Like, oh, okay, well, it's not out of place on Stormfront, the neo-Nazi website. I would expect a neo-Nazi website to have this take, but to fucking see him on one of the largest political channels on YouTube, one of the largest news channels on YouTube. We're talking the Zenith. Fucking Tim Pool gets fucking top 100 trending videos on that site. Like, come on. This is fucked. Absolutely fucked. I can't wait for Pride. I'm just gonna say that I can't wait for YouTube to put up the trans flag, put up the rainbow flag, do all the rainbow washing, being like, we love creators, everything's fucking awesome. Check this out. Hey, what's Tim Pool saying over there? Oh, yeah, he's just mocking a trans person who committed suicide and then saying it was the parents' fault for actually affirming them. Anyways, fucking welcome back to the rainbow wash. Shit is going awesome. We love you. You're valid. Everything's great.
Was suffering an identity crisis. I can understand and respect that people are suffering when they experience this. I can empathize. Me personally, I don't have that. I couldn't imagine the pain, the mental anguish of not feeling like you fit your own body. I do not believe the appropriate answer is to surgically...
Pause. That is not true. You do gender affirming care every day in the form of your beanie, sir. Every day. Every day. It's your goddamn costume. All right. You are not Superman. You don't have 1,000 beanies. I know what you are doing. Okay. And it is a fucking shame that that's the way everything is. That it's people are fucking vilified for being bald. That is a problem. I agree. I'll sympathize with that 100%. But at the same time, you cannot say that you do not do gender affirming care every single day by refusing to expose your own hairline every day.
Sorry, I just realized something. When you said Superman, it all kind of clicked for me. It's like Golden Age Superman comics, the reason Lex Luthor was a supervillain was because Superboy blew a chemical on his head that made him lose his hair. And I always thought that that was unrealistic, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe that's Tim Pool's villain origin story. Maybe a trans person accidentally made him go bald, and that's what turned him into this hateful monster.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That lore fits perfectly.
Some trans person came up to him and said, Sir, you can't wear a hat in here, sir.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
That's got to be what it is, right?
We're through the looking glass here. This is reality now.
Or medically modify an individual's body because they're suffering from some kind of identity crisis. The easiest way to explain it is anorexia is not okay. Someone thinks they're fat, but they're not. Someone has some kind of...
the easiest way to explain it.
If they were, would anorexia be okay then? Like,
what? It's not okay.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to explain it. All right, maybe to yourself.
Yeah,
maybe that's what you've rationalized up here to explain it to yourself. Oh, this is how I make sense of it. It's the easiest way to explain it. What can I say?
Speaking as a person who has suffered from anorexia and as a gender nonconforming person, I would say one of the key differences here is that you die without food.
I've heard this. I'i've heard this.
You don't die if people call you a different pronoun.
The rumors are true. Yeah. Oh no. Pronouns. My arch nemesis.
Body dysmorphic disorder, and they want to remove their hand. This is a real thing. I do not believe we should affirm any of these things. What we should do is help these people accept their circumstances. Instead, what is happening?
No jokes here. What he is saying out loud right now results in death. That, like, just to be completely honest, like you are saying things on a massive platform that results in, and you are advocating for things that will result in people dying. That like, it's just there's no joke, there's no punchline, there's no bit. That's fucked. That's fucked.
It cannot be overstated how vile what he is doing here is.
Yeah,
you know, and he has to know he's. It strikes me as impossible that no one would have pointed out to him by now these statistics, all the information that you and I take for granted. Like,
Well, I
he
mean,
has to- he just wants trans people to die. Is the only explanation.
it's kind of hard when you have a rotating cast of neo-Nazis, alt-right, neo-reactionaries, Christian fascists, Christian nationalists, fucking just spinning around on a carousel in your show every day. I imagine a lot of them probably aren't on the up and up on the science behind any of this, and they probably want to push, I don't know, ideology more than anything. But that could contribute to the problem.
But my bias, right, would be that like I'm on the left. I'm surrounded by people who share my worldview, just as Tim Pool is surrounded by Nazis and other freaks.
Yeah.
But occasionally someone will pop in, because I'm doing a live stream right now. Someone will pop in and go like, "Hey, no, what you're saying is full of shit." And Tim Pool has a much bigger platform than either of us have.
True.
Surely people have come in to go like, "Hey, man, just so you know, all of the shit you're saying is murderous." He has to know. He has to know.
On the nice scale, I'm just going to say this will result in death.
Is that activists have decided what we should do is just tell anyone suffering an identity crisis that we will just agree with you. And then here's the problem. This individual, Henry Berg Brosseau, died.
It's not an identity crisis, though. It's a man.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's that weird right wing. We want to kind of muddy the waters by saying that, like, you know how like Tulsi Gabbard will always be like, I was a tomboy when I was young, and like if someone had told me back in that time that maybe I was like I needed to change my actual gender, I would have had unnecessary surgery, and that's why I'm doing this crusade against LGBTQ plus people, not because I have deep seated bigotry that I can't get over, and this is a me problem. That it's like it's similar to that. This is like the same thing. It's like, well, just because you're suffering from an identity crisis doesn't mean you should be going through with these things. And it's like in most of these cases, I mean, obviously, I'm cis, Mildred, you can explain to me more, being someone who's non-binary, that like, it seems like the people are trying to be affirmed, as in they are trying, they're almost begging, please, will you just recognize I am what I am, because I recognize what you are already. That's kind of as a sissy, that seems to be my take on the whole thing.
Well, it's also like, what does it matter to you? Like, it's no skin off your nose. It's like, again, it's
what do I lose?
Loser shit. It's such loser shit.
What do I lose from this? Oh, this calls into question the entire identity of what is masculine and what is gender. Now I'm losing things. My status. What the fuck?
And also, it's just like, it's like, or we're just supposed to affirm whatever people say that they are. It's like, this person wasn't saying they're a carbon atom,
Right?
It's like, I know how to speak to a man. I know what to call a man.
Yes. The one joke. We need to start repping those. We'll open with them.
But there's a bunch of tweets that I want to show you.
Oh, great. Please.
State lawmakers have advanced an onslaught of anti-LGBTQ bills to restrict where and how we can freely and openly be our true selves. This is Michael K. Lavers. But let me show you. So here's photos of
you just fucking scrolling past the smiling face of the person whose rhetoric you caused to take their own life.
Yep. Yep. While vilifying them for money.
Fucking useless. Fucking not a person. Scroll. I gotta get to the tweets. Gotta make some fucking content.
Yep. It's a headline. Clickbait. Let's do it.
Of the individual in question. Human Rights says, Henry was our beloved colleague and friend and brought light to everyone around him. In his honor, we must come together and speak out against injustice. We must fight for our transgender family. There are no words to describe how much we miss him. One person told a story. I ran into Berg Brosseau a few months ago at a party in D.C. I immediately recognized him as someone I've looked up to for years. From across the room, I yelled, "You're from Kentucky," and saw his face light up. I'll miss that smile. We all will.
Is he mocking?
There's a lot of reasons people take their own lives. Often you can't see it coming. You think everything's okay. My question is simply this. Could it be unrelated to trans issues why this person took their life? Perhaps. But I think it's more likely that this was the issue. Now, it's entirely possible.
You know what I think? I actually kind of agree with you, Tim. I think it might have something to do with trans issues, specifically that people like you have created an atmosphere that is deeply unsafe in the world for trans people.
You're actually almost right for the wrong reasons. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it is the trans issue. It's the vilification of trans people that contributes to this.
And just like fucking, as though like he has any right, like he's reading these tweets from like grieving people.
Yeah, I know.
And like trying to like mine that for like some
for
sort
content.
of,
For content.
emotion.
It's
like,
yeah, I know.
Like
it's
they
fucked.
would like support your take on this. Like
Yeah. Like, I like, just try to flip the script on this. What would this look like if there was a leftist who had all of a sudden there's like, oh, this straight cis white male has died and the kid committed suicide, so I'm gonna make a whole, like, maybe they died because they were straight and cis and white and male and all, like, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, let the person grieve. Why are you doing this? This is like, it's so far beyond, it's gross. It's like, this is the kind of shit that like, I don't want to like even shy away from, because I think like you should call this out and people should feel disgusted to associate with it. Like if someone wants to bring Tim Pool on, they should have a double think and then be like, well, you did go after that trans man who committed suicide and like just vilify the grief that his family should have been allowed to like fuck you, you know? It should be beyond the pale.
You should not be allowed in polite society.
No,
like it's
none whatsoever.
Berg could have owed someone money, suffered heartbreak, or some hardship. Okay. But if the mother wants to make this political and say that it's because of a lack of acceptance, then I will rebut and say, you cannot make the world accept you, period.
I will fight so no one accepts you ever for anything. You are not gay. You are straight, I say. I will fight.
Why haven't you forced the world to accept my son? It is your fault.
By the way, I lose nothing by doing it. In fact, I gain not being a dick. But fuck it, I will never accept any of you.
Point taken, Tim. You're right. There will always be people who are shitty. That
Yes.
does not therefore give you the right to be shitty.
Shitty human beings will exist. You're amongst them. Yes, you are amongst the shittiest of the shittiest human beings. But
Walking out of the
goddamn.
Best Buy with like a TV on your shoulder, and they're like, "You have to pay for that." I'm like, "You can't stop theft. You can't stop theft from happening. You can't stop everyone in the world from stealing."
True.
Everyone will choose to reject or accept
man.
someone for any reason. In some parts of the world, in most parts of the world, they're
Doesn't make it
racist.
good.
What? You hate the words that just came out of this man's mouth.
Like, racism bad. Do we have to do this? I mean, 2022 is almost over, but I'm guessing, Mildred, you agree with me, right? Racism bad? Let's not do the racism.
Yeah, I was saying your example.
Spicy takes, I know. I gotta be brave in this hour. But racism bad. Yeah, I'm gonna stand by that. Yeah.
To follow that analogy, if this woman's child had been killed because of racism, you wouldn't be like, "How dare you politicize this? How dare you? How dare you?"
Imagine. Some people are calling this a hate crime. I am not. I am not going to do that. In fact, I think this is the fault of the person for being black. It's their fault.
Yeah.
That's why this happened. Yep. I'm going to say it. I'm the only one brave enough to say it. I'm going to come out and do it. What the fuck? What the fuck, Tim Pool?
The color of your skin will determine whether or not they accept or reject you. You can't change that right now. Over time,
Wait, rewind. I need to hear this again. I need context. Yeah. I don't want to go off. I'm about to go off,
no,
but
we got it. Let's make sure that we're hearing these arguments, because we don't want to. Yeah, we wouldn't want to go off half-cocked here.
Yes, please.
In some parts of the world, in most parts of the world, they're racist. And the color of your skin will determine whether or not they accept or reject you. You can't change that right now. Over time, we can genuinely find people become more accepting in certain respects, but mostly this is a product of...
Oh, wow. Then it kind of sounds like everything you're saying is wrong.
It sounds like you just talked yourself out of your own argument there, bud.
Did you just disprove your entire video at the 7-minute mark? Sorry, the 8-minute mark. I want to be factually correct about this. At the 8-minute mark, Tim Pool fucking debates and destroys, eviscerates Tim Pool. I'm glad we could be here for that moment. Well done, Tim. I knew you'd get there eventually.
Of the West in the United
That's
States.
really funny.
I mean, China is still extremely racist, and they're not giving that up.
Yeah, China's the only part of the world where racism happens, for sure.
Just figured I'd slip that one in there. Did you know the Chinese are racist?
Yeah, like, for example, one of the things they might do in China is label every Chinese person racist. As an example of what racism looks like. Wow.
Yeah. Please, keep going.
So I don't think it's fair to say that you can make everyone accept you. The question then becomes, why is it that a person with so many friends,
No one is
with a
saying that.
career, being featured as
Literally
a prominent
impossible.
activist?
It's no one's argument.
Well, gee, Tim, why don't you ask any of them?
Yeah,
It seems like
no
they have
shit.
an opinion on why that is.
No shit. In addition to the fact that, like, no kidding, not everyone will ever accept you, but, like, you can choose whether or not to be a dick. This whole video is in service of you being a dick. I refuse to acknowledge what you are. And then he's like, but other parts of the world, some people are racist. They'll never accept you for all you are. For now, until we can change that, which I'm working on. And then let's look at this other, like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Clean up your room.
Oh, goddamn.
It's also like fucking. I don't even know what I was gonna say. I'm just mad.
Too much Tim Pool outragery.
Of these things should fill someone
Staycom
with
619, thank you so
fulfillment.
much for all
Should
those
grant them
subs.
that feeling.
I'll
It wasn't
thank you
enough.
properly after
I'll say it
the
again.
segment.
I don't know why this individual took their own life.
And shut the fuck up. And shut the fuck up. You don't know why. Like, then don't talk about it. Don't use.
Clean up
don't
your room.
fucking go to your fucking YouTube channel and tell your audience this is why. If you don't fucking know, if the person's mother is saying this is why, and you're saying no, it isn't, but also I don't know.
Even if I fundamentally disagreed with a right-winger's worldview and they were using, the death of their own child to try and talk about their own worldview or something, I would never choose this as the angle for me to go at this subject
Clean up
at.
your room.
That would be so fucked to be like, oh, yeah, this right-winger's kid just committed suicide and they're saying it's because of X. I would never be like, you know what? I got an angle here. I'm gonna interject myself into this conversation because I have an opinion. Like, get fucked. It's the worst possible time for you to sound off and oppress people. Let's be real. You are using this to oppress people. A fucking suicide to oppress more people. Could not be more fucked.
It's predictable what they're doing, right? It's
Clean
like
up your room.
Look how mad all the libs got because I said this thing to deliberately make them mad. This incredibly insensitive thing calculated to be as upsetting as possible, and then they called me an asshole. And aren't I the victim here? Like that's what he's doing. But it's also like, okay, we can't just let them keep doing that. We have to like.
Yes.
We have
no,
to
it can't keep getting worse. It can't be normalized that all of a sudden they went from thoughts and prayers to fuck around and find out.
Clean up your room.
That is like 100% stop. The fight has begun. The line is drawn in the sand. That is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. This is the language of people who want to eliminate like LGBTQ plus people from the earth. Like they just don't want them to exist, you know? And that's the language of a fascist who believes that kind of shit. To be like, it's totally acceptable now for me to be like, well, you were groomers. What did you think was going to happen? No, they weren't. Like the people who were shot in the Colorado shooting, that was not even the fucking drag show event that you're fucking libelously claiming as a grooming event. It was separate from that. That's so fucked. The only thing that was happening there was the queer community was fucking living. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
But he doesn't support the death penalty, mind you.
No, of course. Yeah, no. He's got morals, principles.
It could be for any mother wants to make a political, then I will say this. You had a child suffering
We're not even
an
half
identity
done.
crisis.
Fuck
And instead
me.
of saying,
We're not even
let
half
us
done.
help you navigate through this, you said, we will just agree with whatever you say, despite the fact that
Clean
it
up
is
your
you
room.
who is suffering from because of this. Somebody who wants to remove their hand, Somebody wants liposuction. Somebody who's anorexic.
Okay, one of these things is not like the other.
Yep.
Liposuction is not a mental disorder. That's
Okay. Okay.
like
All
We intervene. We sit them down. We surround them and say,
We
"This
intervene?
cannot-
Clean up your
What?
we
room.
intervene. Are you aware that you can just go to a plastic surgery clinic and get all the plastic surgery you want? It's not illegal to do. Like,
no. No.
what are you talking about?
You can ask for it and you get it. This is so different than someone, especially a child, who's asking for gender affirming care, or even an adult asking for gender affirming care. It's so separate from that. But liposuction, same thing, right?
not go on. Why, in this case, do we do something different? So this
What
Clean
do
up
you
your
do?
room.
What do you do that's different, Tim? What do you do that's different? Because if someone said, I wish I didn't have a hand, and in order to fulfill that, all I require of you is to simply not acknowledge my hand, behave as though the hand isn't there, why wouldn't I do that? If it was causing that person like serious mental distress, why wouldn't I? No one is asking you, Tim Pool, to walk into the clinic and perform a surgery on someone.
Clean up your room.
All you have to do is just say he, him, call this person by his name, and you can't fucking do it.
Well, I don't know. It's not like he's been using pronouns his entire life and knows how to use them already. It's not like he's been calling people by their proper names his entire life and knows how to use them. I mean, when do we learn how to do that? At 3, 4, I want to say, or around that time. When does Mama or Papa happen? That happens at like what within the first year, I want to say. So, language is complex.
individual was given as much as they could get. I mean, they can physically change their body with drugs
6
and
months,
with
sorry.
surgery, but they will never be a biological male. They will still have less muscle mass. They will still have less muscle collagen. They will still be shorter.
What does that have to do with anything? That doesn't make you less of a man? Are you only a man if you have the proper degree of collagen? Can I measure your collagen? Oh, not enough collagen. Oh, you're a woman. Beta. What the fuck is this shit?
Tim, if I'm taller than you, does that make you less of a man than me? Like, how tall are you? How tall is Tim Pool?
I don't. The internet will know. We'll find out right away. Tim Pool height. We should also. Can we find out what Tim Pool's collagen levels are? I'd like to know that. Yeah, I'd like to find out. Salary 350,000. These sites are always such bullshit. It says his height is 1.73 meters. I don't know what that translates into the king's system.
Yeah, I mean, he's a man, so he's got to be at least 200 feet tall.
Well, at least a man starts at 200. Oh wow, there's a whole bunch of people. 1.79 meters. Mike Saranovich 1.82 meters. Stephen Crowder 1.88. Paul Joseph Watson is the same height as Stephen Crowder, 1.88 meters. Tim Pool is 5'10".
Okay, so Tim Pool and I are exactly equal in terms of masculinity.
But now, Mildred, you're
We'll have
non-binary.
to do some bench pressing before we can
But
determine.
what does this mean? Because you're non-binary. Does that make Tim Pool less of a man?
But I'm a biological male. Stop affirming me, Lance. Do you want me to die?
I apologize.
You're just agreeing with me.
I'm sorry. I know this shit is complex. It's hard to learn all the
Don't
rules,
you
know?
realize that I'm having an identity crisis?
I just haven't caught the woke mind virus yet. I'm trying to learn all the rules. I don't want to be cancel cultured.
And then ultimately, I think what happens is, with everyone around you lying to you, how much of that could you really take, unless you have a stronger sense of self?
So in your mind, Tim, you think what upset this man was that people called him a man? You think that he was mad that
That was the worst part of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hear a lot that trans people are at high risk of suicide. I don't like that. I would like that to stop.
you got a funny way of showing it?
Yeah, I know. Weird. You don't like that, and yet you contribute towards it for cash, for money. Yeah, you're like, this is my lot in life. I should earn cash by increasing the hysteria around this issue and making people real big afraid of this. Because what is the point of this fucking video? What's this going to serve? Do you think the majority of his audience, right-wingers and fucking cis people watching this, are going to be like, holy shit, whoa, if you are gender affirming, all of a sudden when your gender is affirmed, you can commit suicide? My God, I knew it. This is going to kill people. Like, that's fucked. Again, this is going to result in death. That is the result of this kind of a video.
If you were trying to create a video to cause people to kill themselves, I don't think you could do a better job than this.
Yes, this is a template. Here you have it. Yes.
Yeah.
This is an unalive yourself fucking video right here.
I have a friend who died. I don't know if it was suicide or not. Who was trans, and it's painful, and it sucks.
But just pull the I have a trans friend card.
We should tell these people it's never going to happen. The people around you who are telling you that you're handsome, who are telling you that you look a certain way, they're lying to you.
They're lying when they tell that to you, Tim.
Oh God! I'm gonna have to better call Saul after that whiplash. My word, I went from extreme anger to unadulterated joy. that was aggressive. You got to warn me, Mildred. I need a content warning before you go in these directions. All right?
Look, we need to start being more thoughtful and kind, which is why I have to tell you. You're a big uggo. You're super ugly. Why is that necessary, Tim? Listen, I'm worried that you're having an identity crisis, and I just need you to know that anybody who tells you that you're good looking is lying, okay? Because I'm worried you might hurt yourself, so I just need you to know. You're always going to be hideous.
Gotta put it out there. How is this real? I agree. I have no idea. Okay, can I just put this on the record? Tim Pool has pushed back more on someone who has committed suicide and the reasons for that suicide than he did against Ye straight up spreading hardcore anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Way harder, to order of magnitude, unforeseen, untold. You know, like this is like, if you compared the two, and I know this is not an apples to apples thing, but in terms of if we could measure, if we could quantify how much he pushed back against Ye, straight up being like, the Jews control all the media and the banks, and being like, compared to this, like, holy shit. This is like, not only do I agree wholeheartedly with something that is directly possibly going to lead into people committing more suicide, but I'm going to make a segment and make some money from it. Need to get some fucking dosh. This feels like a good outlet, you know?
We you know, and also we could get into like a whole discussion about passing privilege and everything, but like, brass tacks, he's got a picture of this person on screen, and it's just a dude.
Yeah. Oh no.
It's just a dude.
If you showed me this photo and all of a sudden we're like, is this a man or a woman? I'm like, a man, what's the point?
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I'd be like, oh, sorry, is this supposed to be like where it's the green hair means that they're an SJW or something, and that means that they might be non-binary? Is that what you're trying to do with this? But if you're just like, look at this dude, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's a guy. Like, yeah. Okay.
Wearing a fucking tuxedo.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there in your like gray sweats with your beanie and the fucking stanky compound.
I'm gonna be honest. Tim does not look like a man. He looks like a condom. That's the aesthetic he's going for.
Yeah.
Not every single trans person, mind you, but a lot of them. When a person enters a room, and I'll put it this way: there are people who pass, and that means that. You know, for a large amount of trans people, they're considered lucky, I guess, by other trans people.
Here we go.
A trans woman could be walking down the street, and someone might be like, "I didn't realize that was that person was biologically male," because they pass. They're more effeminate.
Yes, a normal thing to think.
And say
just
out loud.
A normal way to think about people.
Yep.
But there are a lot of trans people, like that video of the super ma'am. You remember that? It is a large, I believe, around 6 foot tall biological male who looks nothing else, like nothing else but a biological male. getting angry and threatening violence because someone kept saying sir.
So for some context on that, the person in that video had repeatedly told that the person who was they were yelling at and threatening with violence not to do that, and was being deliberately harassed.
Okay.
So
because it kind of sounds like trans ideology has taken over society, and that the woke mind virus has poisoned us all, and that we accept this as normal. That's kind of what I hear.
Clean up your room.
If reality is different than that, but it's tough. Yeah.
Like if the same way that if Tim Pool were in a room with me and he kept calling me Smeldred, I'd be like, shut up. Because I don't like that.
Seems like a reasonable reaction to have. Yeah.
What he is essentially saying is like, the reason that trans people are sad is because people don't insult them enough.
True. Fucking hell. I'd like to state we're not even halfway through this video. Technically, we're almost about halfway. And pound for pound, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the worst we've ever done. Like we've been doing this
easy.
for
Easily.
right? Like
easily.
It's never been this bad. I both say this as like a nod and a wink to the better and fun times that we've had together, and the legacy therein, but also to the sad reality that like this is normal now. It's so fucked up. You know, it's so fucked up that it went from like, well, I'm a libertarian. I just, if you're an adult, you know, that's your business, blah, 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 you know?
We used to come on these streams and laugh because he'd be like, I think ghosts might be people walking in between parallel dimensions.
Right.
You know? That used to be what Tim Pool would talk about, and we'd go, what a card, what a crazy character, this Tim Pool.
My. Yes, what a card this one, I say. Oh my. And now it's like, god damn, you're just vilifying someone who has just committed suicide and going after the parents instead of letting them grieve and straight up being like, we got to be honest about this. Why can't we have a conversation about why being trans makes you kill yourself sometimes? And like, what the fuck? That's where we're at. That's you know, it's as horrible as it feels to say that sentence out loud. That is what Tim Pool's doing right now on his channel on YouTube.
It's curious if he applies this logic to himself. He talked about having a trans friend who may or may not have died of suicide, and I'm wondering if he would therefore argue that that's his fault for not intervening and affirming that person.
So fucked.
I wonder if he would,
So fucked.
Because they didn't understand. Oh, they don't know what's going on. There's a viral video from Starbucks of a transgender female that is transgender, has facial hair, but biologically female, saying that their work is too hard, there's too many customers, and that they were being misgendered. Even with facial hair, the average person.
Yeah, but the thing is, Tim, and this is where maybe actually talking to a trans person would benefit you in this I don't like the way I look with facial hair. I look at it and I go, I don't like it, but it keeps growing back. Is the thing. It's you shave it off, and you're like, cool, looking sick and tight. But then what it does is it comes back. Is the thing.
Yep, it's never ending struggle.
So Tim, shut the fuck up, like. So Tim, shut up. And like, if it were reversed, and it was a cis man who couldn't grow facial hair, and people kept calling him, you're working at Starbucks, and people are like, excuse me, miss, can I have a caramel macchiato? Like, that I assume would have an effect on your self-esteem.
It would, yeah. You know? I would be like, why did that just happen?
Yeah,
that's weird.
Knows you are not male, and this is the challenge. I think
with authority, saying it with fucking authority. Yeah,
but I cannot stress this point enough. This is such loser shit because it's like. No one is standing like across from a trans person and just like stewing about this, just obsessing about, like, I know what you are.
Yeah, I have to tell others immediately.
Yeah.
We got to gram this. Yeah, no, again, you lose nothing from this. It's so fucking weird to hear him talk this way, to straight up be like, you are not a man. You are not, like, this was Ben Shapiro fucking like 8 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, you're proud to be the fucking forefront of this. Garbage.
Also, like, let's say that this were like pure delusion. When my niece is like, I'm a fairy princess, I'm not like, excuse me. You know,
Yeah. Delusional.
stop that right now. Everyone knows that you're not a fairy princess.
And that's not even a real thing.
No. Yeah.
Do you think these people? Do you think that they don't know they're being lied to?
Again, all he's this
Lied
right
to-
here.
By
This
whom?
is just. This is just him trying to like get in the head of trans people watching to convince them to kill themselves. That you cannot convince me of otherwise. Because what he is doing is specifically taking the thing you're most afraid of. It's true. It's true. It's true.
Which
You know,
is
that's
so
what he's doing.
Fucked up. It's so fucked up. And then just the fucking put it on YouTube for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people to watch afterwards.
Many of them do. They know that when they look in the mirror, they are not in the body that they want, even after all of this. Some people can make it, some people don't. And so I think the challenge is we
Jesus
live in a
Christ.
society where everyone comes up to you and they say nice things to you, but you know it's insincere, or at the very least you feel it is.
Again, what you're describing is an anxiety disorder. Like, this is like, why is that like, oh my god, what an absolute monster. Just
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
The solution to this issue was not to blame Republicans or anyone else, but to look within yourself as to how this.
You blamed the mother. You said it.
Yeah,
said,
you blamed the
we
mother.
can't- Suddenly we can't blame
100%.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blame the mother, also blame trans ideology. Both of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were your two boogeymen in the story. No question. That you decided, I need to wake up and make a video about this. I need to talk about this. How dare they go after Republicans? Not a Republican, by the way. Milquetoast fence sitter, voted for Bernie Sanders. Don't care about the Republicans. But either way, why would you go after the Republicans? God damn, we got to do a story about this.
Came to be that your child went through this. I think that there are many people who are genuinely dysphoric. Gender dysphoria is real.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
There's some,
Thanks, Tim.
As opposed to, as opposed to like what, insincere dysphoria? Like someone is pretending to feel uncomfortable with their body for what?
I don't even know how to.
Like, why?
I don't even know how to
Other
still
than
man this
feeling
one.
bad.
Yeah,
Like what? Like,
I can't.
what are you doing?
I don't even know how to do this as a bit with the steak. Honestly, genuinely, what the fuck?
I'm sure there are lots of people that feel uncomfortable that they're
naturally.
overweight, but
Yes. Yeah, but
most of them just pretend like they feel
yeah,
uncomfortable.
but the vast majority are pretending. There's a couple cases, but the overwhelming
like-
majority, yeah.
I
Same-
love being a man, but I'm going to transition just to trick people and make, just like
No, it's for
do
the
you think is
clout.
happening?
You're doing it for the gram. You got to do
Oh,
it for
the
those
clout.
likes and
Wow.
follows and retweets and all that shit. Hell yeah. That's why all the kids are doing it right now. That's why it's exploding. That's why we have a social contagion. That's why the numbers are going high. It's not like, the whole left hand used to be satanic thing. And then when we stopped doing that, all of a sudden the numbers went and then they stabilized because, there's a natural amount of people who are going to be left-handed. But we used to just be like, left-handed? What dare you? Slap.
you're having an identity crisis. We need to help you understand that you are not left-handed. You are merely right-handed and experiencing hand dysmorphia.
suffering because of it. But I also think for many of these people, it's social pressure. And that's why we see so many young girls identifying as trans. Because they're being told that the masculine traits in society are the ones you want. You want to be the hunter. You want to be the hero. You want to be the CEO. You don't want to be the caregiver. You don't want to be the nurse. You want to be the doctor. The nurse. Nurse is lowly. You don't.
So you do understand feminism. So you do do know it. That you do know that. Like,
by the way, the nurse, I've never thought in my entire life as being lowly. I've always been like, my word, the amount of patience necessary to do that kind of a job in which you are literally saving people's lives all the time. Lowly, maybe scum.
At the cocktail parties Tim Pool is going to,
Yeah.
they're swirling their brandy. What do you do for a living? You're a nurse?
Oh, that's too
real
bad.
Job. Be a YouTuber like me.
I'm on my 5th podcast. God damn it.
You don't want to be the mother. You want to be the breadwinner. And so it's not about the physical body. It's about social acceptance. And I think because of that, many young women are suffering. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, just my personal thoughts.
I feel like, okay, man, then probably what you wouldn't want to do if that's the case, and it isn't, that's not why, but probably what you wouldn't want to do is like work real hard and surround yourself with people that want to maintain those fucked up gender standards.
Structures, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Ultimately, I want to help people, but let's read more about what's going on.
Oh,
we have this from NYC council member Eric Botcher. He said, tonight the drag story hour protesters came to my apartment building and gained entry. My super called the cops and 2 of them were arrested for trespassing. This is pure hate, unmasked. If they think this is going to intimidate us, they're mistaken. Our resolve is strengthened. They're writing things like
imagine seeing this.
Yeah.
And like, okay, well, we've got to say something about what a wild thing to say that when they
outrageous.
The
nerve, the gall, if you will.
Who does this guy think he is?
Oh, come on.
Benjamin Ryan. He is the science reporter for the New York Times, NBC News, Guardian. He says, I wasted a lot of energy on Twitter recently trying to explain to people that the term groomer has been hijacked as an anti-LGBTQ slur this year. No one wanted to listen. They just wanted to call me a groomer.
Yeah, like you're doing. Well, I assume you're about to do. And James Lindsay is doing in this this follow-up. Well, what alternative term do you suggest for the description of drag queen story hour in a major educational curriculum journal? Personally, I would probably go with drag queen story hour would be my suggestion.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
Benjamin's lying. And I can prove to you that he's lying because James Lindsay brought the receipts.
Oh.
The reason why people are calling him a groomer is because Marxists lie. Because these people have consistently lied. They lied about Jussie Smollett. They lied about the Covington kids. They lied about Kyle Rittenhouse. They lied about Donald Trump and Russiagate. They lied about the pull rope at the NASCAR race.
Oh, it's hard to keep up with all
this. They lied about...
All of those were Marxists, by the way.
Oh, yes. No, Marxists did all of those.
Marxists are lying.
Yeah, Marxists took them all down. Yeah, and it sucks. Sucks those rascally Marxists are spreading all these rumors, They're just a bunch of cads. Yeah, they love lying.
That's what they like to do.
It's how they get off.
Everything, basically. And now he's coming out and saying they're trying to call all LGBTQ people groomers. No, we're calling people targeting children groomers. Why are you lying? James Lindsay points it out. He says, for this description of drag queen story hour in a major education curriculum, inquiring minds want to know. In it, they actually state what they are doing with drag queen story hour is creating family friendly in the sense that it's accessible and inviting to families. But it is less sanitizing force than it is a preparatory introduction to alternate modes of kinship.
Oh, God.
They outright say they are grooming.
No, they fucking don't, Tim. No, they fucking don't.
They outright say.
Words are on screen, Timothy.
Like the level of confidence, that's him being like, I don't understand English. Like staring at the camera while he's doing it.
Like the idea that merely knowing that trans people exist will somehow convince children to like drop everything and become trans. To merely know that trans people are in the world, that it's a way a person can be, is going to make them go, hold on, wait a second. I guess I'll do that. I have to now because I saw it.
Oh yeah.
If that was the way it worked, then I would like sports because everyone around me liked sports when I was a kid.
I got to be honest.
Like sports.
I'm barely holding on as a cis person. You know, the ideology is so strong. The woke mind virus has been so incredibly powerful that every day I'm just like, oh, I'm only moments away. You know, there's no stopping it.
It's just like, who is this fucking fooling?
Yeah, I know.
Like, why don't you just say God hates F-slurs? Like, that's what you're trying to, like, if this is the level of discourse.
But that's
the level of discourse, then that's what you should be saying.
If I could summarize this video and put it into what's this video and what's it about? God hates F-slurs. That's it.
Yeah.
That's like the whole video and the ethos of it in a package right there.
The you know, at least hateful people used to be able to, like, stand in their conviction. They didn't have to do this fucking cowardly
song and dance. Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, just own it, man.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Just own it.
You clearly want to say it. Just say it.
And James Lindsay has tried to redefine what the actual definition of groomer is, and that, like, James Lindsay's definition of groomer has circulated right-wing, like, fucking social media systems where it's just like, groomer is both introducing a child into perhaps an unwanted sexual relationship with an adult, and in addition to that, it's also introducing children to activities that adults do. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, is soccer grooming? Is piano grooming? Is eating a succulent Chinese dinner grooming? Is fucking reading a book grooming? These are all activities that adults do. So if a child does it, is that child being groomed? And
there are specific actions that we forbid children from doing because those actions are dangerous for children, i.e. having sex. Children should not have sex, so we forbid them from doing it. And anyone who tries to get a kid to do it is a groomer.
Yep.
But, like,
that's what a groomer is.
Yeah. Same, like, technically speaking, if you want to go in, like, the nuts and bolts of the English language, like, you could say that someone is being groomed for command, you know?
Well, the whole purpose of this, in my opinion, it protects groomers. Because, like, what better gift to a fucking pedophile than having all these people be like, hey, by the way, if someone wears a wig and reads a book to kids, that's the real pedophile. Get angry. Go after them. Haha. And then I can
they fucking know it, too. They fucking know it. Because this is like, they used to...
It's interference.
Like, you call everybody Nazis, and that lets the real Nazis get away with shit. And so you fucking know what you're doing. Like,
100%. 100%.
But
like,
they're willing
who else does this protect?
They're willing to let children get sexually assaulted in their war against trans people.
In service.
The facts, the brass tacks, is they value hurting trans people above the safety of children.
If a hospital has cis children there and they also suffer because bomb threats are being called in, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care if a fucking hospital has bomb threats called into it. They don't care if cis kids who need chemotherapy have to have delayed fucking radiation and shit like that. They don't care. Like, acceptable losses in the war against fucking the thing I don't understand. Like, that's it.
Alternate modes of kinship. And they end off by saying, we're leaving a trail of glitter that won't ever come out of the carpet.
Why is that highlighted like a gotcha, like a fucking piece of evidence? We got you, motherfuckers. Here's the pedos. Look upon a closer inspection. Yeah, glitter. Nothing more pedophilic than glitter.
Ever been in a fucking preschool?
Yeah,
all they do is play with glitter. You like, what are you talking about?
Were you not a child, Tim? Did you not grow up? Did you not play? When you were playing with glitter, were you grooming yourself? Like, what the fuck?
Well, I think we can safely say that Tim Pool has never groomed himself.
Yes.
They are outright saying, family-friendly just means accessible and inviting to families with children to prepare.
That is what that means.
Yes.
That's what those words mean.
I would assume. I mean, hard to crack this, you know. I don't have the Rosetta Stone before me. I don't know the cryptography of this one, but kind of seems that's where I would head, you know. I
have always been of the opinion that family friendly means accessible to families.
Yes, and friendly to them as well. When they get there, it'll be friendly to them. That sounds.
By the way,
friendly. Yeah,
Tim, it's when they say that, what they mean is there will not be sexual content. It's their entire fucking point.
Yes. That's what family friendly means. Yeah.
Prepare them for alternate modes of kinship. Yeah, we call that grooming. He responds.
Yeah, if you tell your kid that that there are gay people in the world and you let them know about that, you're basically having sex with them yourself.
Yeah, it's the same thing apparently. Yeah, good to know.
Basically doing a sexual assault, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
yeah,
you do
on
that,
the spot.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. If you just
Makes
basically
sense.
identify anything about yourself, any aspect about yourself, all of a sudden that's the exact same thing. Yep.
Yeah. I don't think we should let people know that you can be gay or trans, but obviously we should let 16-year-olds marry 50-year-old men.
Oh, of
That's
course. Yes. Well,
no
that
issue
is
there.
as God intended. It's in the
Bonds.
Bible.
Children that gay people exist and gay families exist is not a form of grooming. Grooming is the manipulation
nice.
Yo,
Thank you.
That's what we were just saying.
I know. That's so nice of you, Tim. Oh, generous.
It's almost it's like
Hmm.
well, he's reading it in a mocking tone from Benjamin Ryan's tweet. But yeah, there he is, right? He's right there saying, "Hey, no, the obvious lie that you're saying is right here." And you know, let's hear how Tim Pool, master rhetorician, weasels his way out of this.
I want to know, is Tim living in a world where it's like if a kid walked up to him and was like, do you like boys or do you like girls? He would immediately be like, cannot answer the question lest I be sexually assaulting you on the spot. Like, it's like, run away.
This is just this is the Mott and Bailey that conservatives do about queer people, where when it comes to a visibility, the existence of queer people itself is sexual, right? In a way that heterosexual people can never be.
No,
It's like I talked about this in the video where they talked about like the gay Superman panic, where it's like Superman's kissing his boyfriend in a comic, and they're like, "Why are they showing sex stuff to kids?" It's like, what are you talking? That they're kissing. That's not out of line in a comic book. Like,
how about how Disney is now grooming kids because they have I don't know, lesbian couples in movies, and it's like, if you look at the back catalog of Disney, my word, what the fuck? If we're gonna go down that route, The Lion King is hardcore porn. Okay, The Lion King was fucking hardcore porn, and we all saw it, and we all.
Like, the files grooming children, obviously.
Obviously, of
to
course.
Get them to fuck
yes.
lions.
Yes, that was the entire purpose of it. But it's not just that. Like, obviously, that's the easiest one to go to because it's like, what is going on? Why all the tumbling and the licking of the face and all that shit? But what about fucking Mulan has a scene where there's a whole bunch of dudes who are naked and this one guy stands up.
Yeah, but Mulan is trans propaganda though. Mulan, because she's a biological female. She'll never make a man out of her for sure. No way.
Okay, you got me there. What about Toy Story? Toy Story, when Woody all of a sudden she's like, how about I let the sheep sleep at whatever tonight and you come by the barn? It's like, what's the implication going on? It's not talking about Woody getting the Woody or what's going on?
No, Lance. No.
Okay.
Toy Story is also trans propaganda because Buzz is a biological toy who thinks he's a real space person, and because nobody affirms him, they manage to make him see reality, and then he's fine.
A Bug's Life.
Carry on as a toy.
A Bug's Life. One of the bugs when they're in the theater scene is straight up like, why don't you pollinate with this, baby? That's got to be sexual. That's got to be a sexual connotation for the children. There's no other way to read that. Hypersexuality. Frozen has the same. What about Frozen, where she's like, foot size doesn't matter or something like that? It's probably referencing the penis. I mean, I'm going to assume.
Well, as we have discovered, the way to tell the difference between a man and a woman is strictly through size. So if foot size doesn't matter, it would imply that sex is not biological and it is therefore trans propaganda.
All right, sorry. You're right. Okay, but then yes, then they're actually correct in all of this. It turns out that all throughout history, all of what we thought was the sexualization of characters was actually just trans propaganda.
But I can't wait to hear Tim fucking lay the law down on this guy making the extremely reasonable point that teaching children gay people exist and gay families exist is not a form of grooming. Tim's going to have something to say about that, and I bet it's going to be real smart.
He's equipped. He has the tool set, if you will. Yeah.
Here we go.
This. Yeah.
Because that's what we were saying. We're about to be made fools of by master debater Tim Pool.
Children to prepare them to be sexually abused. Well, that's strange. It quite literally says they are preparing them for alternate modes of kinship.
Yeah, for example, that gay people exist.
What do you think?
And that gay families exist.
Wait, what is this your definition of kinship? Like, do you think
What do you think kinship
you want fuck? Kinship? That means fuck. Yeah, kinship fuck.
Yeah, but like even if it did, what they're saying is gay people do.
I know.
Talking about gay people.
I know. Different forms of kinship. That's amazing. Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. To be abused, right?
What?
No.
See, why did
No, not
he
at all.
take this story, which is about adult men simulating sodomy in front of children?
No, it isn't. What?
Hey, all right. To be clear, wait. If we can slow down. I don't know what this article, this research article, is about. I have not read it, so I cannot speak or attest to it if that's what is being referenced by Tim Pool.
Well, I can safely say. I think I can safely say. Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I'm going to go ahead and take a wild leap of logic here. That
Okay,
probably,
take a stab.
Yeah, they weren't reading a children's book about what it's like to butt fuck. I think
Probably. Most
Yeah.
likely. The odds are high. I will say you have good gambling odds on this one. I mean, if Tim's referring to what the top of the thread was about a pretty easily and definable hate crime. Like that this is a person being like, a hate crime has occurred. Here's evidence of the hate crime. That's what that is. Yeah.
Come out and claim we're just teaching people that gay people exist because they're lying to you. Because Benjamin Ryan is, in my opinion, I can only assume, he is running cover for pedophiles. Now, you can ask yourself why that might be. I'm sure the average person, the reason why they're calling him a groomer is because he's protecting them. And
so. Okay, let's just Occam's razor this one real quick. Which do you think is more likely? Either this politician is, for some reason, just creating a situation where pedophiles can go into schools and just like fucking nobody noticed, you know, until
doing it publicly. And doing it publicly, I might add. Yes.
Yeah. Or maybe this guy correctly has pointed out that it's not sexual. There's nothing sexual going on. A man dressed in a woman in drag, it's like saying a Halloween costume is definitionally sexual.
See,
Except
but
I think you would have a stronger case for that.
But I heard from the guy in the corner of the screen that apparently they're teaching children sodomy. That's what I heard. This is a sodomy instructional course. Yeah, for kids. That's what he's taught me. So I don't know who to believe right now, Mildred. You're confusing me.
If indeed he were going into children, like the classrooms and instructing children in the art of sodomy,
yes,
I would think that would be the headline event there. You know,
I would assume
it would kind of make the rest of what you're talking about irrelevant. That would be kind of the thing everybody would point to.
Yep.
And say, that's a little strange.
Yeah. And I think it's at this time that both of us do need to acknowledge publicly that James Lindsay is very good friends with Nikki Klein and how amazing it is. James Lindsay will never stop being the groomer guy who is best friends with the inner circle fucking Nexium cult member. Not ancillary, not on the outside, not, whoa, this Nexium cult might seem like a weird thing. The inner fucking circle fucking who still defends to this day the man who's convicted of child rape and child trafficking. So
very very good source on sexual ethics.
Yes,
right
and how to interact with children that James Lindsay certainly is. Yeah.
James Lindsay has spent enough time around people who manipulate others into sex to know when it's happening.
Yes, exactly. He's the canary in the coal mine, really.
lying on their behalf to shield them from accountability. Even when James Lindsay says, here's the proof, here's an academic paper saying they're doing it, he goes, no.
First of all, anyone can write an academic paper. That doesn't make it.
Wait, what?
like
absurd.
Like, I didn't say that, Tim. didn't say that because you know why? Because that would be against the law, Tim. You would be arrested if you did that, Tim.
Wait, you can't write and advocate pedophilic academic papers that try to
Public
teach children.
indecency to bring like pornography into a classroom. This person would be in jail if they did that, Tim. It wouldn't be an academic paper making the case, you know. It would be a fucking police report. Like,
oh, that's funny. Oof.
Teaching kids that gay people exist. But that's not what we're saying. That's not what James Lindsay is saying. We're saying, no, they've explicitly stated they're trying to prepare children for alternate modes of kinship.
no, they did not. They explicitly did not. They said they were showing children that different modes of kinship exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
which is word for word teaching children that gay people exist and gay families exist. Is literally the thing you are saying is grooming.
And is okay. And is okay. Yeah. And that's fine. Fine if you're not, fine if you are. In both directions. Doesn't matter, you know?
By the way, this is like they're not limiting this hate to just trans people, right?
No, of course.
It's like everything they're saying, the same arguments they're making, the minute that they can get society to turn on trans people, which by the way, they're not gonna fucking win. They're losing and they will continue to lose.
Yes.
Because they're losers. But
Yeah.
If they got what they wanted, they wouldn't stop there. Because
No.
the exact same rhetoric would just like, I understand that you think you're attracted to men, but biologically you're attracted to women. You're having an identity crisis.
Of course.
And we could just affirm you and say that that's, you know, and lie to you and say that that's normal, but it's not. You know, the compassionate thing to do would be to help you, to make you understand that you shouldn't be having sex with men. You should be having sex with women.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
They are grooming them.
Jesus
Why
Christ.
lie? I don't know.
Why lie?
You tell me why a guy would defend pedophiles. You tell me.
Straight up,
What?
straight up slander. Straight up slander.
100%
Like,
slander.
just straight up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, you have a good case right there. Yeah. No. Yeah.
About the reality of this stuff. Following the statement, the story about this individual who took their own life, Colin Wright says, don't listen to gender activists when they tell you we're not performing extreme medical experiments on children. Here's one of
Mildred?
Jazz Jennings' surgeons.
Can you entertain the audience for 1 second? Someone is knocking at my door, quite literally right
Sure,
now.
yeah.
So give me 1 second.
Sure.
And don't tell them
boy.
any secrets about me.
Hashtag piss gang, everybody. Oof. Okay. So this was wow, right? You know, but also, Tim Pool is a bad man, and I knew he was bad. Wow. It's so obvious what he is doing, and like he's just trying to exterminate trans people. That is what he is doing here. He is doing his best to make sure that trans people are either driven to suicide or the victims of violent retribution. That is what he is doing. And there's a thing where conservatives will often complain that like, oh, we're not being allowed to just, you know, we're not being allowed to speak. We're not being allowed to express our opinions. No, I don't think if you have an opinion like this, you should be silenced. You shouldn't get to just run around and threaten people's lives and livelihood unchallenged. Straight up. This is yeah. It's oofa, but also doofa. Friends with Schaefer. Who's Schaefer? I hope you don't mean Tim Schaefer of Double Fine Studios. Absolute bizarro logic from this man. Not if you start from the position of God hates F slurs, which Tim does, you know. That's what's going on here. It's this is the level that we're at. You know, it's like merely by saying that that people can be gay, you are a groomer now. It's just if children find out that there are gay people, which effectively means that the only way that you could prevent children from finding that out is to bar gay people from public life, is to make sure that no one can ever be visibly queer. And the only way to do that is to kill all queer people. And so that is what Tim is advocating. How much of what he is saying is genuine and how much is a grift? Well, what the part that's a grift are all of his fucking justifications. The part where he's trying to make it seem as though he's not just saying God hates F slurs, all of that is the grift. He is just a hateful person who hates queer people and wants to see them suffer. And that is the part that is true. You don't need to do this to continue to grift conservatives, because they're the easiest people to grift in the fucking world. You know, they're the most credulous people. You can do anything and they'll just swallow it. Conservatives love to eat shit. They just spend all day shoveling shit into their mouths. Yum, yum, yum. Give me that shit, they say. You wouldn't have to go this far. You don't have to like look at a grieving mother and like blame her for her son's suicide in order to get conservative money.
Oh, so what did I walk into?
I was just talking about how conservatives love to gobble down shit.
This is true. These are facts.
They take two forks and they sit at a big plate of shit and they just like fucking Garfield it into themselves. Like it's
Garfield. I was going to assume it was more of a trough style, but I'll take Garfield as well. We're almost done.
Taking Jazz on as a patient for surgery. We knew it was going to be a
then we get the fun one.
surgery. We don't have the experience of having said we've done 50 of these. I was just not expecting her to have a complication as severe as what she did have. Jazz Jennings was a little kid. And the family got a TV show and said that their child was trans. And they put the child on hormone blockers. The hormone blockers ultimately prevented the development of physical matter, body parts, as it were. So when Jazz wanted to get surgery,
can I say, can you pause it? I don't know anyone more obsessed with trans people's genitals than right wingers. Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, you could probably fill this one in for me, but I don't even hear trans people talking about trans people's genitals as much as right wingers. It is a non-stop topic of conversation, and they obsess over it, and they feel that they should have a part of the conversation, which is the other really weird thing. Like, why do you feel like you should be in the doctor's office? Why do you feel you should be in the classroom? Why is
it important to you that that children develop their genitals
right? Like what
you're monitoring the development, the healthy development of their genitals.
What is your skin in the game?
Because I'm not a pedophile.
Definitely calling the pedophiles out. Yeah. Gotta go after the groomers here. By the way, kids' genitals aren't developing to my liking. So yeah, it's gross.
Of a vagina surgically grafted, the doctors were unable to do it. Now I'm going to draw an inference here.
Oh, well, there'll be a first. Wow, okay. Everything so far has been solid.
Oh yeah, fact based.
No weak link there.
Oh no.
This party's going to draw an inference. Okay.
Double blind studies, you name it. Oh, we got the facts over the feels here. I love it.
Jazz Jennings eventually became morbidly obese and remains morbidly obese, though trying hard to work the weight off. Jazz was supposed to go to, I think, Harvard, and then announced abruptly that she would not. In this article from Women's Health from 2020, Jazz was a bit lighter in terms of weight. Following this story about complications...
So weird. This is so weird. This video started out with him mocking someone who committed suicide, saying that it had in part due to the fact that they were trans. Now you're going in this direction. Like that. This is an appropriate angle to affix to the end of my video. You know, the conclusion, if you will.
Yeah, it's also like like Have you ever seen a fat cis person? I don't think so.
No, they don't exist. No, there's
no
not a
such
single one.
thing.
No,
Because
no.
they have their hormones correct.
I was not
Their
massively fat in
genitals-
high school. That never happened. It's a myth.
The matter that should
I don't have the
became
pictures to prove
genitals-
it.
The matter that should have became genitals became fat. Is the thing.
I don't know if I have it on my computer. I'll try to find it. You got to see my fat baby photo. I was the fattest baby. I was so fat. I was like a morbidly obese baby.
Yeah, because
Allegedly.
you weren't getting the hormones you needed. Yeah,
Exactly. That's the reason. Yes. That's
In surgery, Jazz became morbidly obese, then announced she wouldn't be going to school, and family members said she can't be alone right now. I've read the stories about what they call bottom surgery, and they're horrifying. There's a viral video of a
fucking weird. This is so weird. I've heard of said bottom surgeries, the legends of yore. Yes, many have spoken of this. It is known. What the fuck? Again, they like the right finds all these cases because, of course, I'm not, especially as a cis person, here to invalidate people who may have incorrectly transitioned or have problems with that. That's not my the left doesn't do that. We're not the one, but they amplify those stories exclusively. It's like, hey, less than 5% of people, it seems, in every single fucking study globally that happens through long periods of time. Statistically, the data is overwhelming. Tsunami of data in this regard. Less than 5% detransition. Of those who do, the statistics also say that it's because of societal fucking stigma. That's the reason why. Still,
Yeah.
We're gonna pick those examples and be like, look what happens though. Look, this is what deserves attention. You know, this is where everyone's focus should be. And like again,
his little pea brain, right? His little pea brain. He started this discussion about Jazz Jennings,
yeah,
because he wanted to make the case that the surgeries being performed on trans people are experimental. That was how he transitioned to this, because the surgeon said that they'd never seen complications like this before. We wish we could say we've done this 50 times, but unfortunately we had to, figure out how to do it on the fly. Tim was going to say that therefore, ergo, they're just making it up as they go, and they're just experimenting on children. But then he got distracted by the obesity, and so his fucking pigeon brain went down the wrong corner, and now he's just talking fucking nonsense.
Distracted again, foiled again.
trans woman crying about how painful it is, and it's permanently painful because what they're effectively doing is cutting open a hole, surgically grafting intestinal matter into the wound, and then you have to use a tool to crank and keep the wound from closing.
Okay. Can I just say this? Do you know how fucking weird it would be to start an ideological battle based on people having other forms of surgery to go on a fucking show and be like, do you know how grotesque and horrifying it is when people get knee surgery? Their knees are literally opened up, an incision, if you will, as blood pours down their leg. And you're like, the fuck's wrong with you, dude?
They take out your kneecap and they put in a piece of plastic?
Plastic or metal. Metal. It's grotesque. Deforms you. You are an abomination in the eyes of God. Sick. Disgust. Like, what the fuck? Who, like, this is not, doesn't concern you. You are not the one getting the knee surgery, sir. Why? Like, okay, yeah, I'm never going to be a doctor. I don't like the sight of blood. I don't like the sight of organs and people opened up. Not who I am. Not my thing, you know? But at the same time, I'm not going to shit on people who do. I'm not going to shit on doctors for saving people's lives, you know? Like,
but also, even if what he was even if he was portraying this accurately, that it hurts forever,
right,
and that you've basically got like a fucking grain thresher between your legs.
Yes.
Like, there's a thing called informed consent, Tim. If you tell people this is what's going to happen, and they say yes, that's what I want, it's their fucking body. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it.
But wait,
even
Mildred,
if you think it's weird or gross.
But you don't get a say?
No.
Oh, weird. I would assume. All right, fair enough.
Also, I'm not I'm not a vaginal surgeon. I'll cop to that.
Okay.
But I don't think they use intestinal matter. I don't think that's right.
Well, I don't know. I also cannot speak to this. It may surprise many of your audience to learn. I'm also not a vaginal surgeon, but I mean,
my understanding has always been that you take the penis, you cut it down the middle like a hot dog, and then turn it on its side.
That's what I also came to understand from my limited understanding as a non-vaginal surgeon. But
yes.
Tim knows more than I think either of us because he's a vaginal surgeon.
Yeah.
Because they use colon, intestine, some people often say that it smells like feces forever. Yeah, it's horrible.
I laugh about that, but you know that's the name that Tim Pool gives himself when he's like, had a good night. I was a vaginal surgeon last night.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just did you hear the words that just came out of this human being's mouth?
I know. It's one of those ones
it's simply not how smell works.
No, this was an intersection between I had this thing I had to get out. I had to tell you, okay? Like Mildred, I had to express this thought that was in my mind.
Because you had to get it out because you knew if you waited, nothing else would matter. Because
Exactly. But at the same time, Tim Dunn said that.
Tim,
I was
wash your asshole in pool.
Please.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It smells like fecal matter.
What do you think the colon
big
is
self-report
made
there.
of poop? Is that what you think?
It is poo, right? Like we have a long tube of poo that exists inside of us at all times.
Again, Tim, if you're gonna have surgery that involves the colon, they get that out first.
What?
I don't know if you knew this.
Boulder Dash.
It's actually
Flimshaw.
really bad to get feces in an open wound.
What?
We're not supposed.
What is this nonsense?
The main task
What wizardry are you speaking of right now?
One of the main things they tell you, first day surgery school, they're like, "Hey, listen, no poop, no poop in that hole, all right?"
It may be, you don't have to, but it may be recommended you wash your hands before performing said surgery, you know? Like, wear gloves.
If you hear something like that, a credulous person, you know, should like, you should go like, well, that doesn't sound true. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
you sure about that?
It sounds like strange, I don't know, oddly homophobic nonsense right now. Okay.
Yeah, this is he's doing the equivalent of the Ugandan preacher. They eat the poo-poo. Yep,
100%. 100%.
I wouldn't wish. I couldn't imagine how hard it must be for these individuals. We want them to be safe. We want them to be happy. But I can only imagine that Jazz Jennings became severely depressed and morbidly obese as a result of what the surgery did.
I can only imagine.
There's no way we could ask her.
He prefaced that by we want these people to be happy. And now I'm just going to make spurious claims based on zero evidence. Fucking, that vilifies fucking people. Yep, going to do that. Here we go.
Just...
Shameless. Like, I don't know of a better word. Shameless. Just endlessly shameless. You know, it doesn't stop. It doesn't fucking stop over and over and over again. You know, like no shame. You as a human, you have no shame, none whatsoever.
But like the playground bullshit, like the game of telephone that must have happened in order for him to come to this conclusion. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that they put your butt where your pussy's supposed to go, and then your butt smells like shit for the rest of your life. You gotta shit through your pussy now? Get your pussy replaced with a butt? Like, what are you talking about, Tim? Tim!
And then I saw the butt pussy, and then the butt pussy smiled at me, and then what the fuck? You're right. You're right. That one went around the circle. Actually, fuck that. It didn't get a quarter way through the circle. And at some point, like, what? No, that's not what he said. I guarantee. Whew.
Body.
4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go.
Now, I can't speak for a trans man, someone biologically female.
You could speak for a trans woman because okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. No.
Good stuff.
Yeah. That's.
But I
strangely
can say
affirming.
that there are many posts online from trans individuals talking about how much they regret it.
I wonder if there's any other posts from trans individuals.
Yeah. And speaking of telephone, I saw online some say, yeah, okay.
I
Many
heard
posts.
that if you don't transition, eventually you start shitting out your dick.
Whoa,
I just heard that.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
your dick smells like shit forever. So
This is a matter of fact. This has to be taken.
I've seen a lot of posts from people saying that. Yeah.
True. Well, now it's fact. We know this. Mm-hmm.
Anyone in chat? Want to chime in on whether or not transition you regret it? Anyone? I'm guessing probably we might have some trans people joining us tonight. And if so, would any of you care to chime in about whether or not?
I will say in my history of someone as a cis person who advocates sometimes for trans issues, I've never had people in my chat once, not even as a troll job, ever say that. I've never had a single person be like, shame on you, Lance. How dare you take this stance? You should be a better ally, blah, blah, blah. Like, not once.
Detransitioners giving speeches and saying they were lied to, they were manipulated, they didn't understand, their life is ruined. So perhaps the reason why suicide rates are so high is because these people are suffering from an identity crisis and they need help. But instead, they're being affirmed. And then when life gets bad for a variety of reasons, they feel like there's no way out.
Set it off.
I don't have all the answers. I just hope that...
You don't?
That's
He doesn't
fucked.
have all the answers.
Oh man, that's fucked. That's fucked. That is so fucked. Holy shit. Yeah. Just straight up said that out loud. God damn. This is the fucked up thing. Like, this is how far everything has gone. You know, it's like this shit is now normalized. You can say shit like that out loud and fucking... It's not seen as extremism. Like, that's an extremist take. No, that individual, that. Yeah, obviously, there's a variety. Okay, there's a scale. Let's just say there's an actual like spectrum of people who are very, very transphobic. But that is definitely at the far end, at the end of it. You know, yeah. No, but like, goddamn, fuck.
Anybody who's experiencing this and suffering, calls a hotline, finds a community, finds friends, and just works through it. There are many people who detransitioned who are living full lives. They may not be, they may have regrets, but they have found their voice and they have found their inner peace. And
So hold on. If you are cis and then you transition, that's an identity crisis. But if you're trans and then you want to go back to your assigned gender, that can't be an identity crisis.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Also, you might want to look into why it is people report detransitioning, Tim. You might want to look into why
the overwhelming majority. Yeah, okay.
it is possible for everyone. The last thing I want to see is more people lose their lives, because every single life,
not true,
every single one,
not true. You have made a video that is directly going to result in people having more fucking marginalized experience, dangerous lives. Like that, you can't make a video like this that contributes to it and be like, I don't want to see anyone hurt themselves, even though I am dramatically putting out rhetoric there that is probably going to result in people hurting themselves, but I don't want to see it. No one wants to. I'm a hero.
Yep. So, but bad news. There's a guy in Iowa who regrets getting a tumor removed from his lungs, so we have to call off all tumor removals now. So if you got a tumor, I'm sorry that you're having an identity crisis about it.
But wait, how many people regret it statistically? Like, did the majority do, or should we just take this? Okay.
Want to take a chance? You just sew a butt into your lungs? Is that what you think we should do?
Fair enough. No, it's grotesque and horrifying. It sounds horrifying and grotesque. So, yeah. All right, you're right.
And has that spark of the divine. This is why I'm not in favor of the death penalty. No matter how awful a person is, there's something that terrifies me about snuffing out the fire of life from an individual.
It's That's a real weird way to think about human life.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a human being with agency. It's that because they possess some godliness, it makes you afraid if they die. That's why you think it's wrong.
That is so weird.
Such a weird way to
Spreading some
put that.
holiday cheer to
The
kill
point
the
I
cold
entirely
and
agree
tools
with, by the way. I
terrible takes
don't
casts
believe
over
in the death
this
penalty. I
wonderful
do believe
Serfs'
all life
lives
is sacred.
Agreed.
Like to say that, well, the reason why is because, yeah, fucking weird.
Even when it comes to war or violence or just the most
Jake
horrifying
Toadies, thank you so much.
person
I'll thank
imaginable.
everyone in a second.
Within me, I do not have it to be the executioner. Other people may make decisions. I get it. Other people may say some people.
No one thought that you had it in you to kill people. Like you're very clearly a coward. We all saw you in Sweden when you thought you saw Antifa showing up to get you, and you ran away with your tail between your legs, literally scared out of your mind. And there's nothing happening in the middle of a public street.
There's 100% nothing
Clean up
happening.
your room.
Because you're a little bitch, like you're a little coward. Like
You know what that reminded me of? You know when you see ghost TV shows where they have to really overplay their hand because there's nothing happening because we know that ghosts don't exist. So they have these shows where it's just like they have to like drop the camera and then they pull it up and then they're like, burn, so that's what the whole scene was like. They had to pretend the ghost of Antifa was chasing Tim Pool.
head on.
Yeah.
People are so evil, child predators, for instance, that they must receive the death penalty after what they do to these kids. And for me, I'm just like, it's scary to me. I understand why you feel that way.
Oh my God,
if we
he's
have them
flexing.
locked in a box, they're not.
Whoa,
Weird.
whoa.
Yeah, I know. This is the weirdest flex. He's now at the very end just trying to he's both simultaneously trying to flex how much he hates pedophiles and also is just so noble and has values and is anti fucking death penalty. At the same time, I'm so fucking cool and noble that I'm also simultaneously I hate pedophiles so much, but I also
he's covering his ass is all he's doing because he literally just said, I understand why people might want to kill child predators, and he's literally called people in this video child predators. Like he's saying, I understand that you want to kill this person, and I think that's fine. I personally have issues with that. I personally don't want to be the one to do it. I think it's scary to
yeah, you don't want to get into the mud, things get weird, but I'm noble.
Threat. I cannot see snuffing out that fire of life. And
weirdo.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I shouldn't treat these people as special. They forfeited.
Maybe I'm weird. Sorry if this isn't. I'm just kind of weird that way. I don't think it's good to kill people.
Getting very POV.
Maybe it's just me.
I feel Tim's an unreliable narrator in general. If I was to describe him.
he was just about to say that these people have forfeited their right to life. So let's just hear that real quick.
Their position by being monsters. As for these individuals, suicidal, that's the scarier thing, because these are people who are either victims or completely innocent for the most part. I'm just saying that for the most part because sometimes people are criminals, and we're trying to protect the fire of life within them. I feel that these trans activists are snuffing them out. And that is what truly bothers me. To see this story about a state senator blaming everyone else. Well, here's my view. I believe that, ma'am, your transgender son was suffering, and it is those you are angry with who are trying to save your child. But instead of being a parent and leading and protecting your child, you just said, do whatever you want.
He was 24 years old. You don't get to make decisions for a 24-year-old. You don't get to tell them who to be. You don't have to lead that person. Presumably at that point, you should have already taught them to behave as a fully autonomous human being.
I have been, I don't know, watching mocking Tim Pool videos professionally for years now. This is without equal the most disgusting video he has ever made. Without equal.
Yeah. there was a. Let me go off in an extremely thought slime tangent here, because he's talking about like people, having an inherent right to life, and how no matter how bad someone is, you should always think of them their life is sacred. When I think he is like, to me, an example of how bad a person can be. There is an episode. This makes me think of an episode of Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, I'm going there, where there's a guy who lives under the sewer and he kidnaps children, and he makes them like steal stuff for him. And at the end of the episode, he almost falls in front of a subway, and Batman grabs him, pulls him out of the way, and arrests him. He's like, "How come you didn't let me die?" And Batman says, "I don't believe in being judge, jury, and executioner. But this time, I am sorely tempted to do the job myself." And that is how I feel when I watch Tim Pool. Is ultimately, I still believe in the value of human life, and I think that Tim Pool presents the greatest challenge to that value that I have known. That I can look at Tim Pool and say, even Tim Pool, even as monstrous and deranged and vicious as he is entitled to the full life and dignity that any person is entitled to. Yeah,
It's true. Shout out to Kevin Conroy, by the way.
yes,
Legend.
Yeah.
He's my Batman. When anyone asks who's your Batman, I'm like Kevin Conroy. I got to be honest.
100%.
Yeah,
Who,
no
by the
question.
way, spent his life campaigning against the exact thing Tim Pool is doing right now. Spent his life
Yep.
as an openly gay man who was persecuted for that.
Yep.
His whole life. There's a great comic you can read that he contributed to like DC's Pride event that he wrote, and so I don't know who drew it. I'm sorry, but where it's just his story and like the story of him getting that role, and he talks about how like when he's doing the first reading for it, and he's trying to like tap into the feeling of pain.
I didn't know this. I've never read it. This sounds awesome.
Oh, it's great. It's great. But he talks about how he took care of his brother after his brother like had a stroke or something. I don't remember the exact condition that his brother had, but his brother was like not all there, and he came out of a coma, and his first words to Kevin were like, he called him the F slur. And he thought about like this person he loved more than anyone that he's been taking care of. And he reacted with this violence of like calling him this word that's been like hounding him his entire life. It's very much a story of how that word hounded him his entire life. And the happy ending of the comic is him in front of Bruce Timm and I believe Paul, I'm blanking on his name, the other big BTAS guy, where he's reading for Batman, and he says he goes into the headspace, and he's thinking about like, what would it feel like if you were a kid and lost your parents, and he goes to that memory of his brother saying that and losing his parents and like all of that, and when he opens his mouth, Batman's voice came out, and like
What?
yeah.
Oh wow.
It's a
that's
very
incredible.
powerful comic.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did. Wow. Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, I gotta read this.
Paul Dini, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I was like, my chat is also saying Paul Dini. What's it called? I want to write this down.
I can't
Do you know?
remember.
Okay, let's make it out. Kevin Conroy coma comic book. That'll be enough. Google will know.
Yeah, great comic. Great story. Tremendously compassionate human being.
Kevin Conroy. I would say is the GOAT.
Oh, no
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. Maybe it's just that like, you know, I grew, not only because I grew up watching the animated series so much, but like I remember being like old enough to finally watch some of the Tim Burton movies, like, or sneak into friends' places to watch it and stuff like that. But then there was Mask of the Phantasm, and when that came out, I remember seeing that in theaters, and that both thrilled and scared the fuck out of me because that one scene with the face, you know, that one shot that every kid in that generation is like, oh my god, like singed into your brain. But I remember being like that it's such a monumentous like story that is done so well in like an animated form. You don't really see that anymore. You don't see the like, you know, a Batman film that's not only like animated,
the
but
most
like,
emotionally mature Batman
Yes.
film, which is funny to say.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, yes, absolutely, and it's a cartoon. You know, Well, not only that, there's other cartoons that are aimed at adults that don't come anywhere near the emotional honesty and adulthood. I think,
Mask of the Phantasm.
It's with Kevin Conroy. It's not just nostalgia. He's qualitatively better than any other actor that has ever played the character. The only other person that I think even has a claim to it is Adam West. There's the only two that you could possibly say.
Remember the Bat-2C?
Someone had the name of the Finding Batman, written by Kevin Conroy, art by J Bone.
Finding Batman.
Great comic. Highly recommend. Short read too.
I will be reading this tonight.
Yeah, you're gonna cry. Just
good.
have some tissue. It is a very sad comic.
I could use a good cleanse. Sweet. All right, we got 1 minute left. Let's finish this and move on to a Tim Pool
Unless
audience
this left
choice.
your child suffering, and that even after you've affirmed them, and even after they found a community and a voice and prominence, they still were unhappy. Why? Why weren't they fulfilled?
Why?
Because the vile anti-trans hate.
Wait, are you saying it's in the headline?
Right there in front of you.
Wait,
yeah.
Oh shit.
Bold letters.
Right. Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, cool. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
My fear is that many of these people come to regret transition.
I
don't have all the ansers. I can't speak for
no,
adult individuals
you have
who
none.
choose to live their lives.
Not all. Zero. The number is 0. You have 0 answers. Lots of fear. Lots of damage. God damn. Yeah, you're just fucking wreaking havoc. Answers.
The
No.
only question that Tim Pool answers is, "What's that smell?"
And it's one of those unanswerable questions. Too many combining forces.
They do. But I will also point out, at a time when we're seeing Europe and Canada propose medical assistance in death, even for healthy individuals, shouldn't the response on the left simply be, if they choose, they choose? I disagree. But I'll leave it there. And I know this is a tough issue. So thanks for listening. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/
minute left, you know, you can see the fucking finish line. It's like right there. Gotta throw in there that apparently Canada's euthanizing a whole bunch of people. Are trans people euthanizing trans people? I disagree, or do I? Hard to tell. Centrist.
The issue isn't that there is medical euthanasia. That is not the issue. The issue
never
is that
has been.
People are not being given treatment and instead being offered euthanasia.
I can do one better. The conspiracy theory that's going around, and thanks a lot of people for spreading this, by the way, Shoon on Head included. The conspiracy that Canada is mass euthanizing a whole bunch of people as a solution to poverty is absurd. The problem is that people want to die rather than be homeless. That's the problem. The inhumane thing is that we aren't solving that. We have a crisis of homelessness in Canada, yes, and it's really bad. And rather than give them homes, people are being evicted from their places. And if they have disabilities, they don't want to live on the street, so they want to choose death. That's the problem, that they are wanting to choose death. The solution that Tim Pool
proposes in this situation is you put people in a position where the conditions of their lives are so horrible that they want to die. Tim Pool's solution is simply take that option away, and then the problem's solved.
Right.
Keep the conditions as bad as they are.
And
just
the fucked up thing,
don't let them. Yeah.
Like if you listen to interviews with the people in question, like if you watch the one that went viral because of all these people on the right sharing the story, it was a City TV news story. Like the person in question has disabilities, and he's like, I am happy this option exists that I can actually apply. He didn't get it, by the way, but I can apply to be euthanized rather than be forcibly living on the street. Like, I'm glad that option exists. And like, that's fucked. This story is fucked, but not because of the euthanasia, not because there's like a humane way to say I want to kill myself, because of the fact that this person would rather die than be homeless. But no one talks about that. Like, everyone is just like, Canada's euthanizing the poor. And it's like, well, I think capitalism is more than, you know, like, yeah. So we're done, right?
It's fucking for him to say that, like.
Sorry,
I
looked over. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just like, I looked over and I was like, we're done, right? And I was like, oh, there's still 19 seconds left. But
no. He was doing housekeeping after this.
Yeah. But sorry, finish your thought.
But like, for him to say like all life is sacred, and I believe that everybody deserves, you know, to the right. It's inherent in there's the spark of the divine within each person, but also like that. We don't owe anything to one another. It therefore does not behoove you to like make sure that each person is taken care of and given the help and support that they need in life. Except apparently, if the alternative is letting them transition.
Yeah,
it is the one case where he will argue for any sort of affirmative mental health care.
Of course, yes, it requires our attention immediately.
Yeah. Oh, like it used to be about UFOs. Like, remember that? It used to be so funny.
Remember the good old days? 11. Moon Lord actually wanted to mine on the moon. He wasn't some weird anti-Semitic bigot. It was deep. I don't know. By the way, super side note. I don't know if you saw the latest Moon Lord shit. Moon Lord went off after the Ye like fiasco and was like, "I'm going to be honest with you. I think that Ye is awakening Jewish people to the truth." And even Tim Pool was like, "That's one of the most batshit things you've ever said."
Awake to what truth?
The truth. Oh, sorry. It's worse. Awakening Jewish people to God. And I was like, what? Not what Ye was doing at all. Ye was spouting old-timey anti-Semitism. What are you talking about, Moon Lord? Sit this one out. Honestly, if even Tim Pool is like straight up, that's one of the most batshit things you've ever said. You need to sit out.
But it's like man, like if I had a co-host that I brought on to my show every day and they were like, when that guy just said that he loves Hitler, I think that's probably going to help a lot of Jews. I'd be like, you're fired though. You gotta be fired.
You can't come in tomorrow, unfortunately, because the things you just said out of your mouth that's not acceptable in decent society. Yeah,
because you're just saying that you agree and you think.
Yeah. you just said you love Hitler. That's not good. That's not good.
Moon Lord, I don't even like that he gets the said in the same breath as Weed Lord.
Yeah, I know.
Weed Lord is the not so grump of the Timcast.
The not so grump.
That's all he is.
This is a great theory. I'm so on board for this.
Although now that I say that, JonTron is the original not so grump, and
actually
he
true.
Was also pretty racist. So gotta rethink some things.
I'm assuming still is.
Oh no, totally is.
Yeah. Have you seen his random, like every now and then he just likes to do a little like slide under the radar tweet where he's like Banana Republic and like tweets that out and like, oh, I know what you mean by this. Oh, okay, all right. So nothing's changed. Good to know, JonTron.
I don't really keep tabs on JonTron. He's beneath my notice.
under the radar.
Yeah. Also, Dan is Jewish. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe that was not the best comparison. But I was comparing Dan to Weed Lord, not explicitly not Moon Lord, because Weed Lord is a figure of fun. Weed Lord is a silly little guy. Weed Lord is a silly little guy that says silly little stuff, and Moon Lord is like just a hateful monster with a similar haircut.
Unfortunately, they're kind of both hateful monsters. It sucks, but it's kind of true. It's
yeah,
kind of
sure. Like, you know what, they all are, man. But like fucking when you got one bigot who's like, I think probably Kanye's awakening Jews to God, and you got
that
another
is pretty extreme. That is
Yeah.
pretty extreme.
And when you got another one who's like, oh, I don't know about, I feel like Black Lives Matter is going too far. But also, like, you ever think about how, like, if you were on Saturn, you could like slip in between the rings? I think about that a lot.
I feel
I
that's
know which one I prefer.
I agree. I agree. Weed Lord all the way. I'm Team Weed Lord. I'm with you, and I agree with you. It's just so wild that was always the thing. I feel like he wanted to talk about Saturn and asteroids and aliens, and every single time he's like, "Yeah, do you ever think about life on Mars?" It's like, we do, but we also have to talk about how trans people exist. And it's like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna go on this one for a little bit, and then like they talk about that, but what about Saturn? It's like, yeah, Saturn's pretty cool, but you know what's not cool? Trans people. Okay, well, I guess we're back in the fucking. Here we go. Like, in for a penny, in for a pound. The rodeo's going
Lord
again.
Was radicalized because he's surrounded by hateful people. He's just whatever you put in front of him, he's just going to be like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
it's I've smoked enough weed that I can believe that. Yeah, sure. Yeah. But like, yeah,
I see people in your chat. They're like, I am so lost. Okay, so.
Okay.
Need to explain it.
We haven't done this in like 2 years.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, what the fuck is Lance and Mildred talking about? Weed Lord, Moon Lord. I miss the old Moon Lord, not not the new Moon Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start. I'll give you Weed Lord, and then Mildred will give you Moon Lord. Okay, Weed Lord. So Tim used to have a co-host. He's no longer part of the show. His name is Adam Kriegler. He seemed like he was just a guy who loved to sing and play guitar, and he was doing Jack Johnson covers. He seemed just like, we called him Weed Lord because he just seemed like the good stoner. There's bad stoners and there's friendly, fun stoners. He seemed like a fun stoner. That's who he reminded. As two people who I'm sure have imbibed multiple times during the end of the sentence, he seemed like a very kind and friendly person. But he was in the Tim Pool show, and so he surrounded himself with all these people and did a show where he would want to talk about things that seemed benign, friendly, and or fun, and then it would be perverted into, we have to vilify and marginalize these different communities. Though that's what we're all about. And so eventually he left, and I'm not going to get into the details of the whole fiasco of why he left, because it's actually very sad and dark, and I don't want to talk too much about that. But he was replaced, and he was replaced by Moon Lord, who is Ian Crossland. That's the name of Ian Crossland, who's the other co-host now.
Now, I don't know anything about Moon Lord.
You're like, we should have done it the other way.
Yeah. My impression of him has always been that he was chosen because he kind of looks like Adam Kriegler. But he has a very different disposition.
Yes.
I believe we gave him the name Moon Lord because he would talk about colonizing the moon a lot. Unprompted.
So super random story. YMS, Your Movie Sucks, the YouTube channel. YMS DMs me and sends me, he's like, hey, I hear you're laughing at Tim Pool and this guy Ian. Did you know he has this old YouTube channel before he was famous? And one of the videos is him screaming at the camera about mining the moon. He's like, why the fuck are we not mining the moon? The minerals are on the moon. Wake up, people! You know, like at the camera. And I was like, oh, this guy is very serious about this. This is
the shit conservatives need to get back to.
Yes,
this needs to be what they're about. Because like, I'm totally on. You want to fuck up the moon? Like, go for it, my guy.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Oh yeah,
I'm on board.
I'd rather you fuck up the moon than you fuck up Earth, because you're fucking up Earth's pretty bad. You know,
moon's yours. Go for it.
Yeah, go have fun. But then eventually they'll destroy the moon, and we won't have like oceans or waves or a biosphere. It is a matter of time. All right, 19 seconds. Can we make it? Can we do 19 seconds?
Timcast, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.
You won't see me.
Ooh. That was nice.
Here's where you can go if you want to support this type of content.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed the messaging, which I'm pretty sure you have a clear idea of what he said and have a thought, and you want to enter the marketplace of ideas, you know, not in a negative or an angry way. He's
all
about
about
free
free
speech. Yes. And
Yeah.
so I'm just saying, if you want to enter the marketplace of ideas, this would be the locations to make your opinions known on the thoughts and ideas that Tim Pool has put forth. I would say this. I would say that you should wish nothing upon Tim Pool that he doesn't wish upon trans people. That's, I think, is a very fair way of saying that. There's nothing that you should wish upon Tim Pool that he doesn't wish upon trans people. Very, very simple and fair way of saying that.
And like, if you have strong feelings about whether or not he washes his ass, like that's on you. Like we don't encourage that. But
I would say clean
you
your
can't
ass.
force
Personally.
people to accept you is the thing. And if people come away from Tim's content thinking that he's a grody little gremlin who doesn't wash his ass, there's nothing you can do to force people to see it that way.
True. Yeah. If you want to live in an echo chamber of fucking filthy assholes, that's on you. That's a you thing.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.